What a beautiful day for a rubber match. It's Arizona State and Oral Roberts on this Sunday afternoon. The Devils looking to close out the weekend with a series victory here at Phoenix Municipal Stadium in the desert. With Jaden Taylor, Aiden Blanc, JT, big one today for ASU. Fresh off a pretty dominant victory in which they didn't trail once yesterday. A heartbreaker on Friday, but they rebounded very nicely and have forced this winner-take-all game on Sunday.
Yeah, the offense woke up yesterday was the big thing for Willie Bloomquist after a heartbreaker. The offense pretty much was dormant from the fifth inning onwards to end off that Friday night bout. You get your offense back going on Saturday. And again, we're seeing two pitchers here today that are very much so contact heavy, so you can see the ball fly a lot here tonight.
So it's the Devils and the Golden Eagles, and we'll get you the Oral Roberts offense here as they prepare to face Jaden Alba, who has not officially been named the Sun Devils Sunday starter, but he's made both the Sunday starts. Oral Roberts leads off with Will Edmondson. Now, Will was electric, not retired once in 5 at-bats on Friday night, but he was set down a whole bunch yesterday and didn't get a single hit. He'll lead off and play in right. Makani Tanaka's been the opposite. He was 0 for 4 on Friday, had a single to give the Golden Eagles the lead in the 9th inning, and then had a couple more hits yesterday. He's in center field batting second. The change to the lineup comes with Cooper Combs. Now, Combs has been in the cleanup spot all weekend. He moves up to third, and he will be the designated hitter. That's the other change. He played in left field the last 2 nights, so he gets a half a day off and moves on up in the lineup. Vailele Kaane-Yates has been in the 3 spot. He was the DH yesterday after catching on Friday and making some massive mistakes that ended up costing a lot of runs for the Eagles. Pass balls, couple of straight steals of third. He's back in the catching spot. He's in the cleanup spot. Jack Shark had 2 hits on the day yesterday, including 1 for extra bases. He's batting 5th and playing second base. Tyler Broderick is back into the lineup. Now, Broderick didn't play yesterday, but he did DH on Friday. He was 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. He will be batting 6th. Batting 7th is Ethan Fender, the first baseman. Fender in the first base spot yesterday, moves down a spot in the lineup, had a single, and then ended the day 1 for 4. Matthew Brandt, the third baseman, batting 8th. Brandt comes in after Keaton Campbell had third base yesterday. Brandt has not played this weekend. He did sub in once. He came in late yesterday, but did not get an at-bat. So Matthew Brandt is in the lineup for the first time this weekend at third base, batting 8th. And then Martell Davis, the shortstop, he's the one who started 3 consecutive games. He is hitting 9th. Martell reached on an error and walked yesterday in 4 at-bats. He had a homer and a walk on Friday, so a reasonable weekend for him, and we know he's been tremendous defensively at shortstop. So, Jaden, a bunch of changes in this Oral Roberts lineup. They weren't silent yesterday. They were pretty good against a very good Jack Martinez, but they made some massive changes trying to take 2 of 3 from the Devils on the road here.
Yeah, and I don't mind the change, right? You want to have one of your best bats of the weekend, designated hitting, not always having your options out there on the defensive end. Again, high skies, especially out here on a Sunday with the sun blaring down on you. And again, you want to see the success that you had on Friday. Get the offense going to the top third. That was the real big thing that you got to against Ben Jacobs in the 4th and 5th frames. Get Jaden Alba uncomfortable second time through. I think it's the big thing right now for Oral Roberts.
Jaden Alba was very comfortable the first time he started for the Devils. Alba in his 2nd consecutive Sunday start, as we mentioned off the top. In his lone Sunday start so far, he pitched against Ohio State, went 4 innings, gave up 2 earned runs on 5 hits, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts, a couple extra base hits, and a triple. But overall, a very good start to his season. He had a great year of summer ball, a very good fall. He's earned the Sunday spot for now, and he's going to face an Oral Roberts lineup that has had a knack for hitting balls very, very far this weekend.
Very far and very early in the ballgame. So we've seen from Arizona State across the first 2 weekends. They're giving up early runs, but settling in the 2nd through the 4th. I think it's the big thing for Alba today. Get it started early. Get the tempo and your quick pace on the mound in this first inning.
On Friday, Will Edmondson had a homer, 2 singles, and 2 walks. Yesterday, he had a walk and was 0 for 4 otherwise. So we'll see what Will Edmondson we get today as we start this off on a Sunday, 6 minutes after our scheduled first pitch time, 12:06 on the dot. And the first pitch away for ball one. Edmondson, the right fielder, has led off all 3 of these games. And the count goes to 2 balls and no strikes.
And again, you want your most consistent bat to start everything off, right? And the tone was set on Friday. They got everything going for Oral Roberts with that home run. And I love what Edmondson's been doing. Again, a guy hitting 500 to start off 5 games to begin this season. He is, again, the tone setter like we mentioned, especially on a Sunday when things can really go awry in college baseball.
Ball feathered away. It's 3-0. Not a great start for Jaden Alba. First batter he sees in the rubber match of this 3-game set. He winds and deals and just misses the inner black. A 4-pitch walk of Will Edmondson to start this game. That is his 4th of the weekend.
And he's doing everything. And again, if you're the Sun Devils right now, you don't want to pitch to a guy like that. Get to the back half of this order. And again, if you're Alba settling in early, just trying to find the zone, I think he's dealing with something on his left hand right now. He's pointing at the second base umpire to make sure he's all set there. Either way, again, just got to find something on the ground. Allow yourself to not see something high in the air, especially with temperatures getting up. It's already been in the mid-80s this weekend.
Umpiring crew for today, Mike Lusky at the plate, Ramon Armendariz at first, Scott Lintendry was the one he was just talking to at second, and then Angel Campos is at third. A check over, and Edmondson dives in head first safely. So it's the same 4 all weekend. They've just rotated spots. Corners moving in, New Contrades, and then Jacob Tobias holding him on at first to dive back safely for Edmondson. Gives us a chance to talk about the Arizona State defense. That's Brandon Compton in left, Isaiah Jackson in center, Kean Vu in right. That's held true all weekend. New Contrades at third, Matt King back at shortstop for the 2nd straight day. Kyle Walker, who was out yesterday but came in late, pitch coming in for a strike, 0-1. He subbed in the game in the 9th inning at second base. He's back there today. And then Jacob Tobias at first with Josiah Cromwick catching Alba behind the dish. So Cromwick also returning to the lineup after Brody Briggs got the start in the Saturday contest. It'll be an 0-1 with a runner off first. The pitch slicing foul to the net. 0-2, 94 miles an hour. So Alba coming out with the velocity and gets ahead in this next batter. That's what you wanted to see after he struggles with the first.
Yeah, especially a 4-pitch walk, you want to show the confidence. You still have the stuff there. You get things going away from you early, and everything can compile if you can't find in the zone and can't get control back.
Batter is Makani Tanaka, center fielder, righty swinger. Single and a homer in 4 at-bats yesterday. 2 of the 3 hits on the weekend came on Saturday for him. He's also had some pretty good plays in the outfield. The pitch feathered away, 1 ball and 2 strikes. He made a really nice catch to save a base runner in the 9th inning on Friday night. A couple balls hit his way yesterday. The 1-2 from Alba. A check swing, it runs high, and the count even at 2 balls and 2 strikes apiece.
And a couple of really good at-bats to start things off, right? Sunday starter, you haven't seen a ton. You're not scouting as much for your Sunday guys, what you're seeing from Jacobs and Martinez. Get him throwing a lot. Give everything that you can to see for the next guys behind you.
Tanaka, a transfer out of Saddleback College, Honolulu, Hawaii native, takes a ball that whistles off the plate, and the count full at 3-2. He had 5 hits and 10 at-bats last weekend. Add that to this weekend's totals. He's now had 8 hits through his first 2 series of the season. Payoff from Alba will have to wait. He checks on Edmondson at first again. Edmondson has led off every game of this series. Had the homer off Ben Jacobs in his first at-bat Friday, and then struck out in the opening at-bat yesterday. That ball fired high from Alba, and he's walked the first 2 batters he's seen. That one far more frustrating because you had him down 0-2 and missed 4 consecutive pitches.
Yeah, and that's an early warning sign already for Willie Bloomquist out there in the dugout. Just, again, a guy that's able to get yourself out in front, just unable to finish the job right now. And things get away quickly when you cannot find the zone. You can't get your command back early in ball games like this.
He walked 2 batters in 4 innings of work last Sunday against Ohio State. So he, in 2 batters of this game, has already tied the amount of walks he had in start number 1. Tries a breaking ball. It's lined to left, and it drops down on Brandon Compton. Everybody gets a base, and 3 batters in, the base is now juiced as Vailele Kaane-Yates, one of the best hitters in this lineup, comes up to try and knock a couple in, and Jaden Alba running into early trouble on a Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, you missed tying a couple of fastballs that time. You hang a breaking ball on the inner third. Again, it's finding adjustments here quickly. And tough times sometimes for guys to get in there, get all amped up to start off a Sunday, especially this early in the day. Got to be able to find ways to miss low. And again, the big body of Alba just not allowing him to do that right now.
Yates 3 hits on the weekend. 2 of them came Friday. First pitch to him, headed back over our heads. Drop right in front of the broadcast booth. It is a sparse crowd, certainly the lightest of the weekend here at Phoenix Muni. It is a Sunday. They always try to start these games an hour earlier. It's a noon first pitch local time. Alba deals a check swing in the outer third, and the count 1-1 as the pitch misses. Good crowd Friday, even better crowd yesterday, but the fans don't seem to have come back here, at least in droves, for the rubber match. It'll be a 1-1 from Alba, finds the middle of the plate, 1-2. And that's not to say that there's nobody here. You still expect probably 2,000-3,000 in the ballpark, but they were over 5, at least for one of those first 2 games of this series. Off-speed pitch, line to third, and Contrades is right there to glove it. Boy, that was a perfectly hit ball, but it was right at Contrades. He didn't have to move, and Alba able to sneak out the first out of the inning.
Yeah, another curveball that hung a little bit above the plate, and Yates went out in front of it. Again, just got the barrel, just like too much extension on the hands, and get out in front of it right there. Contrades, really good play to get to that ball.
Combs, Tanaka, Edmondson, first, second, and third respectively. They all hold their bases loaded still for Jack Shark. And the first pitch running high and in on him. 1 ball, no strikes.
And if you're Oral Roberts right now, you got to get at least 2 here. I mean, that's what you're expecting. Bases loaded, nobody out to start things off. Again, you're able to get things going on Friday with an early run. Got to continue that here on Sunday.
Shark fresh off a 2-hit day yesterday. Alba splits the plate on the 1-0, now 1-1. In 4 at-bats, he put the ball in play every single time. Fly out, line out, and then a double and a single. We take either one of those here. That's a breaking ball taken away. 2 balls and a strike. It's 77 miles an hour as Alba tries the off-speed and can't get a chase. Edmondson on third, Tanaka second. Combs on first. He's the only one of those 3 that reached with a hit. This ball fired high and in. I thought it clipped him, but Shark turned away just in time. The count 3 balls and a strike.
Yeah, this is not the spot exactly to be thinking about your late bruises. You're dealing with that one if it comes at you.
Would have brought in the first run of this game. 3 balls and a strike. Hitters count to the second baseman, Shark, who checks his swing and takes the ball right down Broadway. And the count will go full. So a massive payoff pitch early in this game. First 2 batters walked, third singled, and then Alba able to get his first out of the inning with a line out, but not out of the thick of this by a long shot. Deals the 3-2. It's swung on and missed. Dials it up to 95 on the gun. And the fastball gets Jaden Alba his second out of the inning.
Yeah, that's where he was missing early, right? You're laying it over the heart of the plate a couple of times to Combs and Tanaka. Got to find that heater away. A couple of really good pitches to end off that at-bat. You can get out of this inning unscathed, throw up a 0. You are not complaining whatsoever.
So the batter now, Tyler Broderick. Left fielder will hit from his left side. Last chance for Oral to get a run here. The first pitch, a fastball at 93, finds the outer third. It's 0-1. First 3 batters of this inning reached. The next 2 have been set down. Jaden Alba's worked himself, or at least started to work himself, around this jam. Kicking an 0-1. High for a ball and a strike. The 1-1 with the bases loaded. Everybody leading, just underway, top of the first, no score at Phoenix Muni, and the pitch high and away, taken for 2-1.
Yeah, too many times you've seen Alba open up too quickly, right? You see the front foot falling out of the first base side. It's open up the chest. That's why your release point is missing so high on that fastball.
Tyler Broderick back into the lineup. Didn't play yesterday after an 0-for-4 night with 2 strikeouts on Friday. The 2-1 is dribbled into the netting above the Oral Roberts dugout. Pushed away, and the Deuces go wild. 2-2, 2 down, and the bases loaded. Big moment early for the sophomore Alba, who saw a lot of work his freshman year and is trying to lock down the Sunday job in year number 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Bases loaded, 2 out. The deal to Broderick is sliced to the mesh, and the count holds at 2-2.
This is a really good fight from the entire lineup already here today. Against Tanaka, the long walk. Edmondson barely had a swing. Combs able to work a long count, 2, and get that single. You cannot waste how good of at-bats you've had in this first inning and end up with a 0. It really just looked too good here in this first inning.
1 out away, 1 pitch away from working out of bases loaded, no out. The pitch, breaking ball, finds the outer third for strike 3. Jaden Alba loads them up and leaves them that way. The first 3 reach, the next 3 go down, and the sophomore with a statement to start this Sunday battle. For Oral Roberts in the inning, no runs on a hit, no errors, and 3 runners left on base. Half an inning in the books. We go to the bottom of the first. It's Sunday baseball, Arizona State baseball on ESPN+. New Contrades, the first for the Devils here in the bottom of the first inning. Great to be with you here on ESPN+. Arizona State and Oral Roberts. First pitch off the end of New's bat to center field, and he deposits one into the batter's eye. Second home run in as many games for New Contrades. He was fresh off a 3-hit day yesterday, and he's followed it up with a home run on the first pitch he sees in this Sunday contest.
Yeah, how about a way to start it off? Outer third pitch, gets the hands to it straight away to dead center field. Again, you need a spark, especially after your starter gets out of a tough jam to start off this ball game. Nothing better.
One pitch, one homer for Contreras, and now it's Kian Vu, starting right fielder. He's played right field and batted second in every single game ASU has played this season, facing the redshirt junior, the lefty Trent Martin, who throws one away, and now it's 2-0. Now Vu goes down the right field line, and he's going to leg this out into extra bases, wheeling around first, going to second. He wants third. Throw beat him by a mile, and so did the tag. A little too aggressive for Kian Vu, who Willie Bloomquist said has really tried to be more aggressive this season, and a little too aggressive there, JT. He runs into some trouble on the bases.
Yeah, he's got the speed. I'm not sure about that much. It gets further into the corner. I think he's got a chance there, but right near the bullpen, good bounce off of the outfield wall there, and again, a good relay. Perfect throw that you need out there in right field to get on over the second baseman to Shark.
Should go down as a double. He tried to emulate his teammate Isaiah Jackson, who did that yesterday. The problem, as the pitch flies off the plate 2-0, is that Jackson is about a foot taller than KV and has the legs to be able to truly leg it out and get the triple. Brandon Compton's at the plate and at a 2-1 count as he pops it foul.
Yeah, I'm not sure about a foot taller. I think I'd give Kian Vu a little more respect than that, but definitely the difference out there. Again, Jackson's got the speed that we've seen all season long and all career long out here with the Sun Devils, but you got that piece in the top half of the order. I don't mind the idea, right? You try to test a throw. Again, you needed the perfect relay to get him that far out in front of the bag, and you got that from Oral Roberts. Don't mind the idea, especially with how much Oral Roberts has struggled defensively or been a little bit shaky.
3-1 misses for ball 4 on Brandon Compton, who just has not seen a good pitch this weekend. He was Big 12 Player of the Week, still is the reigning Big 12 Player of the Week, and they certainly knew that coming in. He'll turn it over for Jacob Tobias, who's seen some pretty good pitches himself. He has some hits this weekend. Yeah,
again, the lineup doesn't get any easier, but I'd rather not see Brandon Compton anytime I don't have to. I'm not going to feed him anything in his wheelhouse. There's pretty much anything middle in.
First baseman Tobias takes it high for ball 1. 2 walks and a single yesterday, following up a double and a hit by pitch to get him on twice on Friday. So he's been on 5 times over the weekend. The 1-0 gets underneath it, hits it skyward left field. This was a problem yesterday for the Eagles, but it's Martell Davis, probably your best defender, and the shortstop out there in the sun to make the play.
Yeah, it's the exact guy to make the play, right? You're in that Bermuda Triangle area that's down third baseline. 3 guys converging. Get your guy with the best angle over there to a tough one there for Tobias, though. That was the pitch to go after. Middle in fastball, wanting to possibly push it into right center field. Just kind of cut at it, right? Too much down action of the swing, and just cut it up in the air.
So Cooper Combs was the left fielder yesterday that had all those problems. He's been replaced out there by Tyler Broderick, who was in there on Friday. First pitch overpowered high, 1-0 to Cromwick. So they've made that change in left field after some problems with the Sun yesterday that cost him 2 hits. 1-0. Compton gets back to first, and they throw it away. He's on his way to second. And more just unforced errors from this Oral Roberts defense. We've seen it in a multitude of forms all weekend. Stealing on third, throwing balls away when players are stealing second. The double steals, which have cost them 2 runs. It's it's been a sloppy weekend for them, especially on the infield.
And honestly, it's something you're more so going to expect out of a team that, again, wasn't outside a lot during the fall and the winter and has so many new guys, right? You don't have that experience of being able to be on a diamond and consistently doing that same thing all winter like, again, ASU warm climate teams can. You're on the diamond all the time to where none of those movements feel uncomfortable.
Ball thrown low. It's 2 balls, no strikes here on Cromwick, hitting .250 with 3 homers and 9 RBI entering this game. He has had the power in his bat. The 2-0 to him. Flown off the inside of the bat. Drifting back Davis at short, and he makes a couple of plays to end this thing, but a wacky inning. The Devils do get a run, the first of this game. It comes on a big fly from Nuke Contrades. 1 run, 1 hit, and or rather 1 run, 2 hits, no errors, and 1 runner left on base. Inning in the books. We go to the second. It's 1-0 Arizona State Sun Devil baseball here on ESPN+. To the second we go. Arizona State striking first for the second straight ball game this weekend. The Devils 1 and Oral Roberts nothing. Back third of the order for the Golden Eagles coming up. Ethan Fender, Matt Brandt, and Martell Davis. That's 7, 8, and 9. And Jaden Alba's going to give up another hit to start this inning. Rope down the left field line. Compton chases. This is extra bases for Fender because it kicked around in that corner. And Ethan Fender has a leadoff double. After Alba retired the final 3 with the bases loaded in the first, he starts off with another barrel here in the second.
Yeah, again, enter a third with that pitch, rope down the line. Tough one there for Compton, right? It's not quite the angle you want to. I want to banana around that ball to get your angle back towards second base. He had to go straight to the cut and nearly overran it. Just had to poke that one away with his glove and sort of allowed extra bases.
Fender now creeps off second. A bunt attempt, pulled back, the ball away, 1-0.
I don't mind it here, especially after last inning. You can't bring anybody in after loading the bases with nobody out. Just force guys over and through.
Third baseman Matthew Brandt. First at bat he's had as a starter this weekend. Didn't get any yesterday either, but came in as a defensive substitution. Fouled back, it's 1-1. They give Keaton Campbell, who had those other 2 starts at third, the day off after he was 0 for 3 with a walk in the Saturday contest. Alba a glance at second. Here comes the 1-1. And again, it's chipped back, 1-2.
And Alba's been confident on the fastball. And out of third there, nearly a mistake. That one runs a little bit more in. It's probably finding its way to the gap.
That's the first error that Brandon Compton has had as a Sun Devil. They charged him with one out in left field. Ball low and away, 2-2, although that's a little bit of a misleading stat, I suppose, because he just didn't play in the outfield much last year.
Yeah, I mean, entirely designated hitter for the most part last season. A couple opportunities out and right. Again, that's a tough play. I don't think that's guaranteed.
Ball slicing down the right field line. The charge from Vu. Again, he attempts it. He had one of those in the Saturday game. And again, he pops right back up. He knows that spot all too well over the weekend, I'm afraid.
Yeah, he went flailing over that wall. I'm surprised he got back up that quickly. I mean, that was full sprint into the wall and dumping over. If he would have hauled that one in, that would have been the play of the year.
So we tried that yesterday. Much better attempt and a much softer landing. Again, he's become all too familiar with that little spot next to the batting facility as Alba gets a little frozen rope there on Matthew Brandt for strike 3 and has his first out of the second. Third strikeout in 4 batters, so he has buckled down and started to retire guys.
Yeah, again, settling in is the biggest thing that we talk about for a lot of these starters. Haven't seen a lot to begin this season, right? A lot of struggling first or second innings for these guys, but again, when you have your stuff, you feel more confident, you get an inning through, right? You feel more comfortable, your body's more in true motion, and the curveball, not a swing there, but a very, very good pitch to start Davis off. You're forcing him to see something low, see what that curveball can bring.
Ball low on Ethan Fender, or rather Martell Davis out of the 9 spot. We should note they didn't officially give Compton the air. They gave the double to Fender. So he is on second with a hit. Off speed pitch, rolled foul wide of the bag at third, and the count goes 1-1.
Okay, yeah, I wanted to confirm that. It did not seem like an error. I mean, that's not a guaranteed play into the corner. Again, he getting to that ball in the first place, being that close to get to the ball off the bat is something, especially for, again, of the 3 outfielders, the slowest one in Compton.
Tricky ball there, kicking around in the corner. And credit to Fender, being right on it. I think he was pretty close to thinking 2 right out of the gate. Ball rolled foul to the Eagle dugout, and the count remains 1-2. Alba started this game by loading the bases. Since then, has retired 4 of 5. He's walked 2 and allowed 2 hits in the first 8 he's seen, looking for strikeout number 4. Now he turns and tries to fire over as Fender gets back in time. So in the back half of this order, really after the first 3, he's done pretty well. It was Edmondson, Tanaka, Combs, the first 3 he saw that 2 of them walked and they get a single. They played a little small ball on him. This ball flown to center. Walker giving way to Jackson, and Isaiah all by himself in shallow center field. That's an F8 for out number 2, and the lineup's going to turn over here for the first time. That's a bit tricky. Alba only went for the first time you threw him, but to have it turn over 2 innings in is not exactly what you'd like to see if you're Willie Bloomquist.
Yeah, and your goal is get one out, get out of this inning, keep it where it's at, just the top of the order, and you're lone man in Edmondson to see. I really like that testing curveball at the top of the zone there to Davis, right? You're really pushing him to start off the at-bat away. You see a curveball that drops out of the hand that high, right? You're thinking it's going to land right over the heart of the plate. Get it that high in the zone, you're getting a guy underneath it, easy pop-up.
Ball in on Edmondson, it's 1-0. Another guy that nobody wants to pitch to after the night he had on Friday. 3 hits and 5 at-bats, called strike taken for 1-1.
Yeah, I'm really liking the curveball. Again, it's true 12-6 out of Alba's hands, right? But again, the thing is, it doesn't pop as much out of the ear, right? A lot of times you can see that pitch popping out of the ear, which is your kind of indicator you're seeing a curveball.
The 1-1, curveball misses in for 2-1. 81 miles an hour out of the hand of Alba. Fender led this inning off with a double. Next 2 batters set down. Alba trying to strand another and get out of 2 clean innings to start this Sunday. Deep breath on the mound. Here's the 2-1. Fastball high and away at 3-1, but that just barely missed its spot in 94 miles an hour. A-OK if you're watching this as Jeremy Accardo.
Yeah, I'm not complaining if I want another one right there, right? Keep fastball out of third. Don't run into a barrel here for Edmondson.
Easier said than done. Led this series off with a homer on Ben Jacobs. 3-1. Fastball hammered in the air down the right field line. Tobias thinks he's got a play, drifting towards the stands, and it's a couple of rows away from him.
And again, that's what you see right there. Missed fastball out right on a 2-1. Not a bad pitch, right? You just don't quite get into chase. So you're expanding the zone a little bit for Edmondson, right? You're thinking, okay, that's something close. That's something I could go after. You're running a little bit more inside, finding on the outer black, and you get him to pop up. And now you're back in the count.
So it'll be a payoff to try and get Alba out of the inning or extend it. If you're Will Edmondson, the 3-2, swing and a miss. He hits 94. Mid-90s is where Jaden Alba has lived with that fastball, and it's played pretty true on this Sunday afternoon. Leadoff double, and Alba works around it. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and a runner left on base. 2 in the books, or rather an inning and a half in the books. And the Devils on top 1-0 in this rubber match. It's ASU baseball right here on ESPN+. We go bottom second, a 1-0 lead for Arizona State in the rubber match of this second weekend of college baseball series. And it's a red-hot Isaiah Jackson who leads it off, lefty hitting center fielder, and the first pitch to him, low and away. We've really gotten a chance to see Isaiah shine this weekend. He's fresh off getting on base 3 times in 4 at-bats yesterday. The pitch in for a strike at 1-1, and that followed up a 2-hit day on Friday. So if you're keeping track, he's been on 5 times with 3 hits over this weekend. Low for 2 balls and a strike. Heard from Willie Bloomquist postgame yesterday about how they've really tried to get him more aggressive, in addition to revamping that swing at the plate as Jackson swings and fouls one away. The count still 2-2. So they said a lot of the pitches last year that he would take, especially with 2 strikes, the pitches that were borderline, he's swinging now. And that's become a big plus for him in that swing. The count away, ball away, 3-2.
Yeah, and I think, again, that timidness to kind of end off the back half of the season last year was because of those struggles to begin the year. Couldn't quite find the big swings that he needed. Came up empty late.
He comes up empty there. Tough going chasing on a changeup high. And he's down on strikes for the first time in this ball game. Heard from his father earlier about his new approach to the plate, and he was saying kind of a, I don't know what the word is, but more symbolic than just trying to avoid pop-ups. The pitch low and away, a ball and no strikes here to the DH Hernandez. He's trying to knock down the fence, quote unquote, and that means not trying to hit it over the fence, but swing and hit a ball that's going right through the middle of the fence or underneath the fence a little bit. And that's what we've seen in the 3 hits he's had this weekend. Ball high and away, 2-0. The ball's not going, you know, the typical Isaiah Jackson trajectory. It's not heading skyward. It's more level to the ground, and he just finds his spots on the infield. Changeup dropped in for a strike at 2-1 on Hernandez here.
And again, the power can come for Isaiah Jackson, right? But now it's, again, getting the barrel consistently through the zone and being able to find more contact, right? And finding more barrels overall. And again, that leads to the build that Isaiah Jackson had. Is going to lead to more home runs and going to lead to more big pieces of content.
Hernandez goes right back where it came from. A base knock to get things going with one out here in the second. He's had a very interesting weekend because he didn't play yesterday, but he started on Friday and was yanked after 2 at-bats. He was 0 for 2, gets taken out. Landon Harrison comes in and gets a couple of big hits in that spot. They keep him out yesterday, but Willie has given him a shot today, and so far so good. A single to start the second, turns it over for Matt King in his second straight start. Check, swing, and a strike.
Yeah, it's kind of those two, Manny Garza a little bit as well, the kind of main three, and Brody Briggs, who worked off the bench a little bit to see where the big bat's going to be coming in to kind of get things switched up. And I felt that Harrison was the better matchup to end off that Friday night. And I think overall there's so many different bats with so many different adjustments, and again, strengths overall. You have the ability to go to your bench and trust that you have another guy going to give you a good AB when another guy struggles.
King in yesterday at the 7 spot. They got him picked off. No, they don't. Another unforced error. There's going to be a play at third here, and that's not in time either. Look at base running from Jonathan Hernandez. Forces some mistakes. They had him picked off. Fender threw it away. Broderick threw it to third, and he was in just ahead of Brandt's tag. Boy, the aggressive base running. It's as aggressive as we've seen all the entire Willie Bloomquist era this weekend. There's really no other way to put it.
And again, it's why you can't complain about that Keenan Vu getting thrown out at third after that double, right? It sets the tone for, again, the rest of this group. That's the mindset, right? Last 2 years it's been big long ball, big hit in a big moment, right? To put yourself out in front in a big way. It's not the same case this year, right? There's still the power there. I don't think as much as last season, but you have that extra aggression that brings guys in and through.
King way out in front. The count goes to 1-2. King 2 for 4 in that spot yesterday. It's the first time we'd seen him start since early in that Ohio State series. He kind of went away for a little while. That pitch slips out of his hands. Ooh. Look at Kaane Yates with the circus catch behind the plate to save the run. But here we go again. The unforced errors you mentioned. This is a team that just doesn't get to practice outside enough, and that probably means significantly less time communicating with each other and practicing infield plays, and it's really cost them here. Not so much against, in their opening series in their home ballpark, but they go on the road here against a very good Arizona State team. The pitch low for 3-2, and suddenly every one of those mistakes has cost them runs, cost them outs, and has come back to bite him. 3-2. All 4, and King draws a walk with one out here in the second. So runners go to the corners. Now here we go. Runners on the corners. We've seen this multiple times this weekend. Once on Friday, once yesterday. Do they try to draw the throw? I don't really see why you wouldn't at this point. The way that it's worked twice, they've had no answer for it. If you're Willie Bloomquist, do you try again? Instead, the ball's put in play to Tanaka in center. This should knock him in. Caught out there. And Walker drives in a run with an FA. We didn't even get to see if he would
or you just
go
swing
for
the bat.
it. Yeah, it's
or
okay.
Just swing the bat, see what happens.
Good enough.
And again, King playing again, 9-hole hitter and Kyle Walker. And you look at the numbers. We keep saying it for Walker. He's only hitting 111 coming into today. But the amount of quality at-bats he is producing is something that you were loving in the 9-hole, right? You don't need a guy that's hitting 350 in the bottom of your order every single day. You just need somebody that's, again, handing it off the top power of your order, keeping things moving. And that's what you do right there if you're Walker.
Nuke Andrades sees his second pitch of the day and grounds out to short 6-3, following up the home run he had on the first pitch he saw in the first. So The Devils get another. It's 1 run on 1 hit with 1 runner left on base. They will give him an error as well. So 1 run, 1 hit, 1 error, and 1 runner left on base. 2-0 Arizona State. Out to an early Sunday lead. Back in a moment with Sun Devil Baseball here on ESPN+.
Sparky's Fairway is back at Mountain America Stadium now through March 16th. Learn more at ASU365.events. Leading off for Oral Roberts, center fielder, Nakani Tanaka.
Top of the Eagle order with 2, 3, and 4 in the 3rd inning here. As Jaden Alba comes out, settling down nicely in the 2nd, has yet to allow a run. He has stranded 4 base runners. First batter he sees here, Makani Tanaka, finds the outer black, the count 0-1. Tanaka walked in the 1st. He was one of those 2 batters that led off the 1st inning walking, and then the Cooper Combs single loaded it up, but Alba dances around it nicely. That's a cricket pitch. Gets away from Cromwick, and the count a ball and a strike.
And think if you're Alba here, got to get through the second part of the order in clean fashion. Hopefully quick action. 45 pitches the first 2 innings.
Ball rolled right side, and that's going to get right past Kyle Walker. It was Toby who really had the play, but Walker was shaded so far over to second base, he just didn't have a play on it. So it'll be a base knock for Tanaka, his 2nd time on and as many at-bats to start the 3rd, and here comes Cooper Combs. So the top third of this order, which was really the problem the first time around, you had Edmondson who walked, and then he strikes out the 2nd time, and now Tanaka following up his walk with a single. This is Combs. He was the one who had the single in the 1st. He takes a strike low and in, 0-1. Five base runners allowed in, 2 and a batter for Jaden Alba. But again, he has been able to get out of it.
He's not really put himself in too much harm's way in that 2nd inning. Tough one in the 1st to kind of find your way out of it. And it shows your resilience, right? Especially on a Sunday when things can really blow up on you. Alba has stayed firm.
Chopper wide of the bag at 3rd, 0-2. Plays into what we heard from Jack Martinez and Josh Butler yesterday post-game about how these pitchers really have adapted to playing in this ballpark. It's one thing to talk about it. It's another thing as a pitcher to be there and watch the ball fly over the fence. But they've really talked about the mental resiliency of this group, knowing that you're going to give up some bombs. You just have to try and keep them isolated as best you can as the count goes to 1-2 here. And for Alba, he hasn't given up any bombs. They've just been clean singles.
Yeah,
and 1 double.
It's keeping things isolated, and then second thing is keeping it just 1-run home run, just solo shots. The big thing for Jacobs on Friday, right? Again, you give a couple walks, and then you give the big bomb. That really changes things. It flips the game on its head entirely. Again, you make one mistake and you give the home run, that's one thing, right? But you give up multiple, give guys on, and get the momentum going in such a way, that's when things can really get away from you.
2-2 here for Cooper Combs. That's a fair ball down the left field line. It's going to be trouble. Compton races to it. Over to third, Tanaka. He gets the green light. He'll score standing up. RBI double for the DH Cooper Combs. And Oral Roberts gets their first run of the game on a little roller down the third base line that sneaks by New Contrades at third.
Yeah, just barely squeezed inside the bag there. And tough one again for Compton to play in the corner. Went bouncing around both off the side wall and off the outer wall. And Compton had to kind of kick it around a little bit to get to it.
So brings up Vailele Kaane Yates back into his catching spot. And made some mistakes on Friday that cost him a couple of runs. Ball's getting to the backstop. Threw a ball away into center on an attempted steal. 1 ball, no strikes to him. But they're going to give him a redemption chance here on Sunday. He's got a chance to tie it here with Combs over at second. And Alba finds the outer third for a 1-1 count.
And for Alba here, again, limiting damage. And already up to 50-plus pitches here. Your days looking number here in these next couple of innings. Get weak contact. Again, that double, not exactly a bad pitch either.
He sets, lifts, deals, and it's chipped away, 1-2.
I think it was a fastball inner third. Kind of got him locked up a little bit, but Combs just had the hands to bully that one through and chop it just perfectly inside the bag, right? It's not a bad pitch, it's a better swing. Can't lose confidence in your stuff to get guys on the ground.
The 1-2 from Alba. Rolled off to the left side. Fielded by Matt King. He's tremendous at shortstop. Big time transfer, makes a nice play across his body. And gets Alba the first out of the third. That was big. No advancement from Cooper Combs.
Yeah, especially, again, with him playing that deep, right? Making sure that you're keeping the eye on Combs out there in second. Get the slow roller, easy play. Again, just step one. Step one, step two, step three. Get yourself out of the inning.
So now it's Jack Shark, strikeout victim his first time up. Takes the ball bent into the zone for strike one. Both of these teams off to midweeks after this. Missouri State at home for Oral Roberts, and then the Devils, their first road trip of the season, out to UCLA. This ball skyward to right. Vu perches underneath it. Oh, he's got a good arm. This throw coming in, but it's a little offline. It'll still be the second out of the inning, but Kian Vu unleashing a throw there from right field. It was going to be a tough reach anyway to get Contrades, but well, he was pretty close to the mark there.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty much flat-footed was the tough thing there, right? Again, being able to get that kind of throw flat-footed is showing there, but a little bit too much wide. And don't complain right there if you're Alba. 2 quick outs, now you get a slow roller, get out of the inning, force something here. Broderick, who already struck out today, and you're in a comfortable spot.
Yeah, the guy that he's taking over for is Nick McLean. Ball bounced over the head of Alba over to second, and Kyle Walker over to first for the out. So we'll finish that thought in the top of the fourth inning, or rather bottom of the third, as the Devils get away here. 1 run from Alba on 2 hits, no errors, and a runner left on base. 2.5 in the books on this Sunday at Phoenix Muni. 2-1 Arizona State. It's Devil baseball here.
Just a reminder to stick around after the game, as kids will be able to go on the field and run the bases after the conclusion of the game. We will begin gathering any kids 12 and under that want to participate in the concourse down the first baseline near section 9, starting in the 9th inning. Sun Devils, right fielder, Jaden.
Keegan Vu had the second out of the top of the third. Now he'll lead off here in the bottom third as we welcome you back here on ESPN Plus. Aiden, Blanc, Jaden, Taylor, and the first pitch to Vu off the plate, taken for ball one. So the thought that I had on Vu at the end of the inning there, he's replacing Nick McLean, who is at some point probably going to be a big league outfielder. Safe bet to make. He squares to bunt, pulls it back, and it's 2-0. Nick's biggest strength defensively was his arm. He could throw just about anybody out from anywhere in right field. This ball struck to center. Easy there for Tanaka, F8 to start the third. You're never going to find somebody with the arm strength that Nick McLean had, but if KV can make a throw like that, that's pretty good. Makes losing Nick a little bit less of a burden on your team.
And again, I mean, comparatively for Keegan Vu, a little bit quicker to the corners, especially with, again, tracking the baseball compared to Nick out there in right. So, again, you get that strength with the arm. You really put it all together, and you get exactly what you need out in right. Again, last season, 4 different guys that Willie Blomqvist said could play center field. Comp, McLean, Jackson, and Vu. The athleticism is there for this outfield. And Vu, again, another year of growth. That's the next step out there and right.
Ball and a strike here to Brandon Compton. And then you have Kai McGarry, who can, again, play any one of those outfield positions. Throws 94. That's as fast as he's thrown from the outfield. So potentially you lose Vu if he gets drafted this year. Or he comes back again and you squeeze McGarry in somewhere else. There's a lot of options in that outfield for the future as the count goes 3-1, a hitter's count to Mr. Compton, who would probably take a walk here, but I'm sure would like to see something to hit. Instead, he takes a strike in the outer third. It's 3-2. Boy, he's just got to be begging for something in the zone at this point.
Yeah, I mean, nothing right now. You're just waiting for anything possible over the heart of the plate.
Nope. They get him inside. That's ball 4 for Brandon Compton. And he walks twice to start this Sunday ball game after a walk yesterday and a couple more on Friday. He had 3 on Friday, 2 today, 1 yesterday. That's 6. And he's probably still getting at least 2 more at-bats this weekend. Here's Tobias, takes a big swing and pushes it away.
And again,
for strike one.
And again, for a guy that's looking to be at the next level, right? You don't want to see somebody that's just trying to chase everything, that's just trying to get a base hit, right? You want to see that projectability to, again, have a higher walk to strikeout ratio.
Oh, there he goes, and they throw it away. Unforced error, and it puts Compton all the way on third. It's almost mind games at this point. The Devils have just gotten so confident on the bases. And they say, like you had said earlier when Vu got thrown out at third, we don't care if you're going to throw us out. We're going to at least make you make that play. And so far, for the majority of it, Oral Roberts has not made those plays. Toby with an RBI opportunity now, and the pitch flutters away 1-1.
And it's something there, too. Fender coming in quickly, right, to get the angle to not throw into the back end of Brandon Compton there. That's what forced the errant throw, right? He did not see Fender coming in that quickly, didn't fully see Compton how far he got off of first, and that's forcing that throw too high. Again, a younger guy coming into the spot like this, there's too many mistakes that give ASU chances to add on.
Action in the Oral Roberts bullpen. Here in the third, Tobias lifts one high in the air towards the Bermuda Triangle. Tanaka, Davis, and Shark. And Shark makes the play, and it's shallow enough. They're going to hold Compton at third base, so now 2 down, and they're going to try to have Josiah Cromwick drive him in.
Catcher, Josiah
Yeah, tough one there for Toby. Straight away the top of the zone, a good pitch to go after. Maybe expanded a little bit. It was close top end there, but again, Toby is underneath a couple of baseballs today. And that's the big thing we've seen from the Sun Devils. You give them a fastball outside the zone up high, that's where the eyes are really going to open wide. We've seen the last couple of nights of the Sun Devils.
First pitch low and in for ball 1. So I thought off the bat it probably had the distance to get Compton in. They're going to hold him on third and hope that Cromwell can bring him home. The pitch away, 2-0. Not the worst decision, but now it's 2 out, and you're gambling that Cromwell can get you hit, which is not the worst gamble to take. Pitch hits the inner black for strike 1. He's had the power so far. Right up at the top of the team leaderboard with 3 homers. In 2 games, New Contrades has become second on the team with 2. This one popped up, headed back towards us. And now Trent Martin is strike away here. Haven't talked too much about the Kansas City native out of Johnson County Community College. 23 appearances with them in 2 seasons. This one rolled to third and through the wickets of Brant. It gets down the left field line. Cromwell will get it into a double. We'll see if there's an error attached to it at all, but either way, it scores Compton, and ASU gets that run back, now leading 3-1.
Yeah, a pair of errors in this inning. You're just giving away runs right now as the Golden Eagles. It's a play that should have been made. Glove's got to get down if you're Brant, but again, you saw it. Legs not fully down, just overarching just the glove there. I cannot have that in a Sunday matchup to where, again, you know the offense can be showing big. You know your bullpen is a little bit weaker in terms of depth. Have to make those plays.
4 errors on the scoreboard as the pitch goes away for ball 1. Yeah, that is an E5. Well, you'll take it, I suppose. Just keep putting balls into play. High on Isaiah Jackson for 2-0. That's number 19, Braden Sanford. It'll be his first appearance in 2025 if he comes into this game. He's down in the Oral Roberts bullpen right now. The pitch high for 3-0.
And already both these starters getting high in pitch count. Martin up to 52, Alba 60 across 3 innings of work. And you're not expecting your Sunday guy to give you 6-7 innings, especially to open up the season. But again, he's got weak contact at times. Defense is not helping out.
3-0 away. Jackson works a walk. Skips out of the batter's box. Cromwell stays aboard at second. And now 2 on. The Devils trying to rally here with Jonathan Hernandez. But back to the conversation we had about the error. We may see this pitching change officially made here. The Devils struck out 3 times yesterday. Every other time they were either walking or putting the ball in play, and that's a very good thing to do. It's something Willie Bloomquist was very happy about with his team. It didn't really cause a ton of mistakes putting the ball in play yesterday. A lot of them were, base running mistakes that Oral Roberts has made, but today, putting the ball in play, you've gotten at least 2 batters on that you probably wouldn't otherwise, just because you put the ball in play and hustled.
And overall, it's forcing the defense that, again, right, has not had as much experience. Very new team that all working together pretty much for their first or second series that they've been with each other to start this season. Again, a lot of transfers, a lot of new guys coming into this roster, right? You're forcing them to make a play. And, again, sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't, like he and Vu's double. And the stretching trying to turn into a triple.
Strike in on Hernandez, it's 0-1. So they decide not to pull Martin. The transfer's still in this game. Little bleeder to third, and they're going to get the force out to end the inning. So Brant able to redeem himself a little bit, but the inning sort of snuck away there from Oral Roberts. We'll tattle it here. Not one hit in that inning. It was 1 run, no hits, 2 errors, and they come with 2 runners left on base. The Devils able to scrap together a couple runs to start this Sunday battle. We're through the way home, and it's 3-1 Arizona State. This is Sun Devil Baseball on ESPN+.
Sun Devil campus stores located on all 4 amazing campuses, including Sparky's Stadium Shop. Visit in person or shop online anytime at shop.thesundevils.com. Are you game day ready?
Fans, it is time for the Smile Cam presented by Align Technology. Let's see those pearly whites.
Leading off for Oral Roberts, first baseman Ethan Fender.
Headed to the 4th on a Sunday afternoon at Phoenix Municipal Stadium. Sun Devil Baseball here on ESPN Plus with Jaden Taylor. I'm Aiden Blanc. It's a 3-1 lead for the Devils. Jaden Alba out for inning number 4. Throws a pitch that tails away. 1 ball, no strikes to the 7-hitter Ethan Fender. You got 7, 8, 9 in this lineup. Ball left low. The appeal to first, and Fender able to hang up. This will be the second time this game that he's faced 7, 8, 9. The 2-0 hit hard and foul towards the Oral Roberts dugout, 2-1.
And if you're Jeremy Ricardo and Willie Bloomquist, you're open a 1-2-3 inning. Get him out of this frame, get you through the 5th, right? If you can get your starter through 5 innings on a Sunday, no complaints, and only giving up 1 run, is exactly what you want. With the bullpen, again, that was shaky on Friday, but still has a lot of guys available.
Strike over the plate taken for 2-2, so he gave him 4 last Sunday. Of course, when he left the game, that's when things started to spiral and ended 17-10. So he ended up being the most consistent arms we saw in that game. Pitch inside for 3-2. The last time in the second inning when he faced 7, 8, 9, he gave up the double defender and then retired the next 3. It was his cleanest of the 3 innings so far. 3-2. Hit foul backwards, and we'll do it again.
And again, I think the big difference, though, is that this weekend, only 2 pitchers used yesterday, right?
Right.
You only had Butler
Fuller bullpen.
and Martinez. You still got Giblin, Fitzpatrick, Kelly, Kroger, 4 guys that you're easily able to work with here this weekend. If not adding on Cole Carlone as well, you haven't seen it all.
The 3-2 deal popped up. Barely gets past the pitcher's mound. It doesn't. Alba comes in and gets it. It's an F1, a very rare F1 to start the 4th inning.
So you're an F1 guy on the infield, you know, pop-outs? I do P01.
That's fair. It was a fly. That ball was elevated enough. I think it counts as a fly ball.
Okay.
It wasn't like a little number that he just
what's your
catched.
what's your differentiating point?
I get it as it's got to get high. If it's high enough, it's a fly out.
What's designated as high?
That's why you have subjectiveness in these scorecards. And why we're not the ones keeping the official scorebook. Ball low. Gets away from Cromwick.
So
it was a P1 per the official score of the day, Jeremy Hawk. So,
so we're going with that.
You were more correct than I was in that scenario.
I've seen recently, again, I've always been a physical scorebook guy. I like actually writing stuff down.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of people recently, like an iPad. Like
Yeah,
an iPad
some
with
Major League
with a marker.
broadcasters,
Yeah,
yeah.
a lot of guys use that.
High and in. 2 balls and a strike. I think Will Fleming of the Red Sox does it.
I'm much more of
There's
like you
others.
have to have
I
the
agree.
physical
Helps
aspect
you
to it.
helps you keep track of the game a little bit better.
I mean, you
too,
kill a
think.
couple extra trees, but I think it's worth it.
Ball low for 3-1. Brandt struck out his first time up. Crowd, I think, still waking up with everybody here on this Sunday. Always usually late arriving on a Sunday, especially at noon. 3-1 is ripped into the gap. This is going to get down. It's going to be a lot of bases for Matthew Brandt, who wheels it his second with a double on his first hit of the day. He barreled that thing up and found the perfect spot to put it.
And again, another missed spot by Alba on the fastball right. Setting up outside was Cromwick, trying to find that out of third, and again, just ran inside to the barrel. And again, how do you work yourself out of tough spots? Alba's had no problem with that today. And just the one run in the third, but again, you bounce back after that double, 3 straight outs. And it seems like he's lived in a better spot when he's in stressful situations.
Action still going in the Oral Roberts bullpen. It's gotten a little more serious as the ball fouled away towards the Sun Devil dugout this time. So it'd be interesting to see if indeed Trent Martin even gets to try the fourth here, or the fifth. No, the fourth. If he even comes out after a bit of a shaky spot there in the third, the ball low, 1-1. I'm not even sure that's fair to do to him, because he got the balls. I mean, he walked 2 in that inning, but in the third inning, ASU scored that run. Didn't get a single hit. It wasn't like he was giving up barrels. He missed a couple of spots. The ball out 2-1.
The tough thing, though, is, again, you're already looking at, again, 57 pitches through 3 innings, which isn't awful. It's not great. I mean, you're nearing at 16, 17 pitches per inning. It's not where you want to be at this point in the ball game, but again, I would not be surprised if you give him one more.
2-1, hit to right. Vu's got a beat. He makes the catch. They're not going to test his arm. That's interesting. Remember, he had a throw earlier that was powerful enough to get to third in time, just a little offline. That throw looked a little bit even better, just a little shorter, but they won't even try to test his arm. They'll hang Brandt out there at second, and now 2 out here in the fourth.
And again, now here's your test, right? Top of the order, third time through for Edmondson, who's, again, looked good against you in the first inning and a long at bat, even though it ended up in a strikeout in the second. This is the real test, right? Can you get through this fourth frame, keep it where it's at?
Another quality Sunday start on the line here for Jaden Alba. This is hit towards center field. Jackson racing back. It's going to get off the wall on a fly. In to score comes Brandt. It's the second double of the inning, this time off the bat of Will Edmondson. After a quiet game yesterday, he's back to his Friday ways. A walk and a double in 3 at-bats, and it's now 3-2 as Oral starts to cut in a little bit there.
Yeah, I'm really confused why you start him off with a fastball, right? Third time through, I would rather work him backwards, right? Give him a curveball the out of third or something straight away, right? You had that strikeout as a curveball, top of the zone that you had him going after. Again, you know he looked good on a couple of fastballs on Friday. Why give him another? And again, there you go, right? You go back to the curveball, you try to get some weak contact for a guy that's found you pretty well today. I don't get why you go heater, especially high in the zone there.
So a 3-2 game. Devs still have the lead. Here's the 0-1. Hit hard foul away. Ricocheted back into the stands.
Yeah, it hit perfectly off the awning here. I mean, that was.
Yeah, that was.
It could not have been more perfectly placed to come right back at you.
Some close calls early this season in Muni. Ball came back here last weekend or on Monday. 0-2 from Alba. Chaser, wow, look at that, 97. It wasn't near the zone, but the pure power in the sophomore's arms.
And again, right now, it's really about getting that front foot down and getting that just glove to just rip through. Because he's just opening up a little bit too much in that fastball. It's allowing that fastball to run high.
1-2, pushed away again. 97 is really only something Will Koger has been throwing. If you could ever start to consistently find the zone there, you're looking at a guy that will be seriously looked at the end of next season by some Major League scouts, if he wasn't already. 1-2, runner on second, 2 down, 1-run game. Back up the middle, past Alba, good stop, Walker fires over his body, he makes the play. Tip of the cap from Alba to Walker, and the Devils able to hang on with the lead. It goes 4-3 with a nice star in the book for Kyle Walker. 1 run in the inning for Oral Roberts. They get it on 2 hits with no errors and 1 left. 3.5 down, and the Devils lead 3-2. This is Sun Devil Baseball on ESPN+.
Fans, it is time for today's edition of the Card Shuffle presented by Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Keep your eye on card number 47. It's in the middle there. It's Rowan Leno's card. We're going to shuffle off. Keep your eye on that middle card. Here we go. All right, it's Rowan Leno's card number 1, 2, or 3. If you guess card number 1, you are correct. Thank you for playing along in today's edition of the Gila River Resorts and Casinos Card Shuffle. Leading off for the Sun Devils, shortstop, Matt King.
Bottom 4 at Phoenix Muni on a Sunday afternoon. First pitch of the 4th to Matt King is inside for ball 1. AB and JT enjoying the back end of this weekend. It's been a fun one for Arizona State. King way out in front on the wave there, 1-1. Could easily be going for a sweep today. Friday didn't turn out as you liked, but a nice turnaround yesterday. The pitch low for 2 and a strike, and you've set yourself up to try and win this series on a Sunday, which is always the goal, especially with a good mid-major in Oral Roberts. 2-1, pulled left side from third, Brandt, and it's going to go foul.
Yeah, just barely.
It was a late call there.
Yeah, maybe just about maybe 3 inches to the left side of that third base bag. A late call, like you mentioned, though. They were waiting on that one. But, I mean, you look at this stretch right now for the Sun Devils. And even with the loss on Friday, you learn from that, right? You're not going to go with perfect 16-0 to, begin the season, right? But you learn from it. You see what the rest of the weekend can do. You see your adjustments. Your bullpens looked really good. Just Butler yesterday. And they got loads of options, not only for today, right, but you get UCLA Tuesday, Wednesday. You have to be able to extend it a little bit more, see who your midweek starter options are going to be between Carlone and Schaefer, a possible guy out there too. You got a lot of options, and you're learning a lot in these first 2 weeks.
That's ball 4, so the walk worked by King. That's his second in as many at-bats. So the goal after these series, if you're Arizona State, as it always is have that team do as well as possible the rest of the way to try and boost your RPI, as Kyle Walker stands in here having flown out in his first at-bat. And this is probably the day for Trent Martin. We can stick with you a little bit through the pitching change because Oral Roberts has a great chance, like a number of chances in these midweeks, to nab a top 25 opponent and boost that RPI. We've seen Ohio State do it already. They helped out this weekend with a top 25 victory, potentially maybe one more before it's over.
Yeah, they're blowing out Alabama right now.
Oral Roberts is going to face Oklahoma, Oklahoma State, Cincinnati, and Arkansas. That's a lot of chances in single games in the midweeks where they could really help you out.
Yeah, especially with being a top team inside the Summit League this year. They're going to be a real true force that, again, if you're going to win this weekend series to start it off, it's not a bad look in terms of the RPI.
Why don't we take a break? We'll tell you about Braden Sanford when we come back in the bottom of the 4th inning. A 3-2 lead for Arizona State as the Eagles go to the bullpen.
Oral Roberts now pitching number 19, Braden Sanford. Now batting, second baseman, Kyle Walker.
Kyle Walker, the first to face Mr. Sanford, as ASU looks to bring in another run here. We don't have a final line on Trent Martin, but we have part of a line. The first pitch from Sanford, high and in for ball one. So as of now, Martin has allowed 3 runs. Only one of them, Jaden Taylor, has been earned. He's also walked 5 and struck out 1. Just a weird Sunday line for him. The pitch upwards again, 2-0.
Yeah, I mean, we knew he wasn't going to be a big strikeout guy. Just one strikeout in his last appearance, more your typical Sunday guy, get weak contact, a lot of defense to work. And the defense has not been working behind him. I mean, 4 separate errors, 1 forced by himself, but it's tough to come out of here on a Sunday, and I mean, you still have your team in this ball game, right? You've kept things limited where innings haven't snowballed, but definitely nothing that you like just into the 4th frame.
2-0 to 3-0 here. He's missed 3 pitches, the first 3 of his day. Walker's 0 for 1 with a flyout. Now he's getting on with a walk. He's been slow to develop, especially given the numbers he was putting up last year at Grambling State, but he's still finding ways on base, and he still has faith from manager Willie Bloomquist, who almost every time we ask about him says, hey, you look at the box score, it just doesn't tell the whole story with him. Here's Contrades, a homer and a ground out. He's only seen 2 pitches today, swung at both of them. 2 on, and he finally takes one upstairs for ball 1.
And it's a style of ball player, I think, too, for Kyle Walker, right? First-year guy coming in here, right? 4 years at Grambling State, now trying to build himself into a new program, and he is just fit in as a leader with ease, right? They have brought him in. There's been easy connections, and again, he's really calmed a lot of these pitchers down at times, too. Again, one, with his great defensive work. You're not going to take him out of the lineup, you know, just due to his defensive ability out there back up the middle. And then, again, 2, he is just a competitor that's going to give you quality at-bats every single time out there. Might not always be a hit, but he's going to get the job done.
3 Sun Devils on the Golden Spikes watch list, high and in, 2 balls and a strike. That ties for the most in college baseball, and he was the only one of the 3 that is a transfer, which, given how many transfers this program has, was pretty impressive.
And also the only guy that's not an All-American coming into the year. You rarely see that, right? Well, your top 3 All-American teams usually is going to be your mix for people that are a part of your Golden Spike watch list award. But again, that's the type of talent that we've seen from Kyle Walker. And slow start in terms of the barrel, right? But you're not complaining in the first 2 weekends of what he's done for you, especially at the 9 spot.
2-2. King on second, Walker off first. A check swing, and Contrades goes down looking. Nice little breaking ball there. Bent in for out number 2 by Braden Sanford.
Yeah, Sanford, interesting guy. Again, stayed hometown pretty much at Oral Roberts after getting a lot of different looks from some other, Power 4 options. Oklahoma, Oklahoma State, TCU, Texas A&M, and Wichita State. Again, Wichita State, one of the best mid-majors of, the 80s and 90s and even the early 2000s. He choose to stay home, be for that mid-major program that, again, he saw just a couple years in high school, get their way to the College World Series. Again, got to find the zone right now, settle things in.
First ball high for 1-0 to Vu. Goes to the right side. Tough play for Shark. Goes to second. One on to first. Double play. Well, for all the mistakes they made defensively this afternoon, that was a pretty darn good double play ball. 4-6-3, and it really helps them out getting out of the inning. Still at a 1-run game. No runs, no hits, no errors, and one error and 2 runners left on base. 4 in the books, and it's a 1-run game. We got a good Sunday ball game going here at Phoenix Media. This is Sun Devil Baseball on ESPN+.
Leading off for Oral Roberts, designated hitter, Cooper Combs.
All right, let's move along on this Sunday. We go to the 5th here on ESPN+. Aiden, Blanc, Jaden, Taylor. Devils 3, Eagles 2. Jaden Alba, his longest outing of the season officially with that pitch, has a 1-0 count here on Cooper Combs. Only Eagle that has not been retired yet. He's 2 for 2, a single and a double, and the count 2-0. Based on where Alba's throwing those pitches, you can very clearly tell he's 2 for 2.
It's been a lot of fastball high that we've seen to really this top third of the order, right? Tanaka with that opposite field single, Combs a couple of big base hits.
Up left side, and it's going to go foul 2-1.
And even Alba with a little bit of a tick down with the heat of the last couple of innings, right? He's still tested. He's still working with that heater, ready to go straight after, even in the middle of this order, right? Again, at times it can hurt you. We saw it with that double off the wall for Edmondson. It's just, how do you mix in and out?
2 balls, 2 strikes. Alba deals, and it swung out and missed. 83. A lot of movement on that pitch. Drops off on the velocity. And Combs is set down for the first time on his day.
That's probably the best curveball that we've seen all day for Jaden Alba. I mean, really good looks. Comes out of the hand looking like it's going to drop over the heart of the plate, then just dies away. Really, really good way to start the 5th.
So brings up Kaane Yates. He's 0 for 2. More action in the Eagle bullpen. This one a bit looser, but there's action in the Sun Devil bullpen as well. This may be it for Alba. Bouncer left side. Contreras waits. And boy, has he been an asset at third base. That's the second out of the 5th inning. You know, we spent so much time talking about Oral Roberts and their defense. ASU has just not made mistakes defensively here. And given how, you know, the corner infields are set, but given how the middle infielders have been in flux almost every game, that's a very impressive thing for Willie, who is an infielder, to have such a brick wall with guys coming in and out as quickly as they are.
He's talking about at times he likes guys kind of like himself, a little bit back up the middle. I mean, again, that Pedroia, Bloomquist style of kind of, you know, undersized guy back up the middle that just has grit, quick to the baseball, very good feet to get to the ball. It's what you see up the middle. Jax Ryan, exact same, you know, look or build that you see over there at Short King and Walker as well. And Contradas, even though the bat hasn't picked up that I think we expected to begin this season, he's been rock solid at third.
Well, Derek Schaefer in the bullpen. He came in last Sunday. Pitch bends into the zone. It's 1-2. Tennessee transfer. We've not seen the other Camden Bates. He's on the offensive side of the ball, but we've seen Schaefer once already. He'll come back in. Local guy. Comes back home. Fouled away 1-2. So you ready for this? Willie had a .977 fielding percentage. I actually didn't know he had played outfield as much as he did. 339 games in the outfield, 305 at short, 142 at third, 141 at second, and wouldn't you know it, 47 at first base. I didn't even know he played first base.
It's probably why his major is so long. I mean, going anywhere, you need a guy as your early 2000s Charlie Culberson.
2-2, in for strike 3. He gets Shark looking, and quietly, Jaden Alba just had a 1-2-3 inning. He may get a 6, we'll see. We go bottom 5, we're halfway done, and Arizona State hanging on, leading 3-2 here at Phoenix Muni. This is Sun Devil Baseball on ESPN+.
Sports up, Sun Devil fans, because Bar S has all your game time cravings covered. Grab a mild or spicy Bar S Sun Devil sausage, or try the new Bar S pitchfork dog, now at concessions. Bar S, a new teammate for your taste buds. Leading off for your Sun Devils, left fielder, Brandon Compton.
BC leads off the back half. It's Brandon Compton up against Braden Sanford to start the 5th, or the bottom of it. Compton 2 walks and scored a run in the 3rd. High strike, 0-1. Jaden Taylor, we're going to have to give out your contact information to the Ohio State fans that listened to you earlier, saying they were well in front of Alabama. The ball fouled away left side 0-2 down at the Jacksonville, what is it, the Jacksonville Classic or whatever it is,
Classic,
the Jacksonville Baseball Classic, a 10-0 lead for Ohio State, and they blew it. Lost 11-10.
At Sunday College Baseball.
1-2 here.
That's pretty much all it is. No lead is safe whatsoever.
Well, it's very similar to what they did last Sunday. They didn't blow the lead, but they gave up 17 last Sunday. Outside for 2-2, so that's 28 runs they've given up over the first 2 Sundays of this season. Very similar to how Arizona State played on Sundays last season. It was not pretty, nor is it usually pretty for any program. The 2-2 is away, 3-2, and Brandon Compton is a ball away from drawing his 3rd walk in as many at-bats here, and feels like, what, his 10th of the weekend?
Yeah, it's just incredible. I mean, nobody wants to pitch to him right now.
It would be his 7th of the weekend. That ball is hit hard and foul. He's taking out his aggressions here.
I mean, anything.
Not seeing pitches.
Again, fastball up and away, and borderline in the strike zone. Again, now, yeah, it would be 12 walks if he can force one here across 2 weekends.
He stays alive in the count. He obviously wants to swing.
And again, I think the big thing here, right, you are seeing that, again, he is taking what he is getting, right? He's not forcing the issue too much, which is what a lot of pro scouts like. A guy that does have the power, but is willing to go out of his shoes for nothing.
There you go. 3rd walk in as many at-bats for Brandon Compton. He'll run the bases, which he's done a lot this weekend. So 3 walks today, 1 yesterday, and 3 on Friday. That's 7 on the weekend. He's gotten on a couple other times, but the walk has been his best friend. A called strike here on Tobias, 0-1. Toby's yet to get hot, lined out and then flew out in his 2 at-bats. A check back, and they did it again. This one's into the stands. Wow. The 3rd time today and the 4th time this weekend that Oral Roberts has thrown away a pickoff attempt.
I think you know what you're working on Monday when you get back to Tulsa.
Why are you even attempting at this point, the way it's gone?
I mean, I don't mind the attempt. Like a new pitcher, it's not like you see any issues from Sanford thus far. And Martin was the one with the issues, but yeah, it's going to be a long set of pickoff moves for the entirety of this pitching staff on Monday. It's going to be hours long.
It's also Brandon Compton. He's not slow, but probably not the one to steal, although you never know the way it's gone this weekend. Tobias takes inside. So that's 13 errors for Oral this season, 10 of them against the Sun Devils. 3 of them Friday, 2 of them Saturday, 5 errors in 4 innings on Sunday. Whole week of fielding practice, you have to imagine. The 2-1. Outside for 3-1, and you only have a day. Assuming you travel tonight, you have a day probably off tomorrow, and then you're right back at it up against not a bad program in Missouri State at home coming up on Tuesday. Here's the 3-1. Tobias to center. He put a charge in it, and this is all the way gone. You're waiting for those bats to bust out, and Jacob Tobias has done the busting all the way into center field, and the Devils have a 5-2 lead.
You're testing Tobias too much. 2 separate fastballs up and away. That one middle in. Man, that's just an absolute shot. Nearly got above the batter's eye in center. Can't make that mistake to Toby.
Had one on opening night. Should be his 2nd of the season. And ASU out to a 5-2 lead. Only on 4 hits today. They have run the bases well. And, you know, then you get a big smack like that. And suddenly, it's a 3-run Arizona State lead. Here's Josiah Cromwick popping it up. Yates doesn't know where it is, and it bumps down in the stands. So a 2-strike count here on Crom, who probably feels like he should be 0 for 2 right now, but got on with an error in the last at bat. So he's only 0 for 1. And now he's 0 for 2, swinging and missing. And a nice off-speed pitch there from Sanford.
Yeah, good way to bounce back, especially after giving the long ball. A couple of curveballs that look really good. That one pushing away right to the end of the bat of Cromwell. He was really looking to get a heater inside, didn't extend the hands enough. And again, got to settle in it. Again, it's still a Sunday ball game in the bottom half of the fifth. They're only down 3. We've seen and struggles at times for this ASU bullpen.
Much crazier things have happened.
Much crazier things have happened.
Ball and no strikes. 1-1 here. It's actually crazier that it's only 5-2 in the 5th. 7 runs in 5 innings is close to a record low here on a Sunday afternoon.
I saw a couple long Sundays last year.
Be it 2-1. It's a strike on Jackson, 2-2. No, I don't know that anyone's going to complain if this becomes the norm on Sundays. If you can start to have better Sundays, that's just makes it easier on everybody. If you're not throwing the tail end of your bullpen, if you're able to hit, but also, you know, keep the opposing bats at bay. Here's the 2-2. Jackson hits one towards right center. It's shallow. Edmondson Shark. Edmondson, a close call, but he makes the play.
And again, though, I mean, good Sundays are really piggybacking off good Fridays and Saturdays, right? And that's what we've seen for ASU. Outside of Will Coger on Friday, the struggles in the 9th inning, your bullpen did your job. And again, yesterday, you split between Martinez and Butler. Butler, a guy, again, very well could be your Sunday start if you really needed him to. Again, you've only used, truthfully, 4 arms if you add on Coger that you can't use again on Sunday, right? You have 7 to 10 guys that you're probably comfortable with using today and or in your midweeks on Tuesday and Wednesday. And that was the tough thing at times, right, for Willie Bloomquist, to where you have a long weekend, you're unable to find much on Saturday and Sunday, where you're using 6-7 different pitchers on back-to-back nights, and then you get to Tuesday, and who are you going to use next?
Fouled away. This is going to go to 2-1 here with 2 out in the inning.
And again, Bloomquist, feels like he's got probably 15, 16 guys that he feels he can mix in right now, wants to bring it down to 12 that he has for his true bullpen.
Swing and a miss. 2-2 here on Hernandez. We said it earlier, Hernandez got pulled after 2 at-bats on Friday. He was 0 for 2, didn't come back, but boy, he's played very well today. Single and reached on a fielder's choice. So he's had himself a nice comeback to end the weekend. Probably see some playing time in at least one of those 2 games coming up at UCLA. It'll be a 2-2 for him. Low and out, 3-2. You mentioned we have not seen Cole Carlone this weekend. Curious to see if we see him today, because he would be a likely candidate to start one of those 2 games coming up in the midweek. Ball spoiled, foul. So if you can avoid using him here, or if you do keep him to 1 inning, you'd like to use him either Tuesday or Wednesday, probably as a starter.
Yeah, I think your goal is probably Carlone and Leto to work the midweeks.
Leto was good on Monday. That ball popped foul, and the count continues to be 3-2. So you rarely ever need 5 starters like that. This is an anomaly. But this is one of those weeks that you will. That is ball 4, thrown low to Hernandez, who's gotten on 3 times in 3 at-bats. So all it took was getting out of the lineup a little bit, and that is kind of what Willie Bloomquist had alluded to last night with his ability to take guys out and put them back in. Keeps everybody on their toes and, makes sure that everyone knows there's no spots guaranteed in this lineup. Looks like we're back to the bullpen here for Oral Roberts. They're going for the 2nd time in this game, and we will figure out the newest Eagle arm as Braden Sanford exits, and a 5-2 Arizona State lead Back for more bottom 5 action on a Sunday from Phoenix Muni. This is Sun Devil Baseball on ESPN+.
Football Roberts now pitching number 27, Keaton Rucker. Now batting, shortstop,
Matt King to lead off for Oral Roberts against their new arm. The first pitch low to Mr. King, 1 ball and no strikes. He has a runner on first, Hernandez, who walked to get there. Compton Tobias scoring the runs earlier in this inning. Keaton Rudhard is the new reliever, the second arm out of the pen for ORU as the count goes to 2-0. So we were having a conversation before we went to break about Sundays. The Devils an 8+ ERA on Sundays. Started the season 1-7 on Sunday afternoons. This is shot to the right center field gap. A long run, and the center fielder Tanaka makes the catch. They finished at 3-1, so they were much better in the back half of the season on Sundays, but still finished 4-8 with an ERA over 8. In the inning, after the F8, we go 2 runs on 1 hit with 1 error and a runner left aboard. 5 in the books, Devils by 3. Back in a moment. This is Arizona State Baseball here on ESPN+.
Sing-along song. So let's hear you sing along to Mr. Brightside.
Jaden Alba's day officially comes to an end. And on this Sunday afternoon, the first out of the pen is Derek Schaefer. Aiden Blanc with Jaden Taylor. JT, a very good day for Jaden Alba. Second straight Sunday, he'll exit with only 2 runs allowed, and that is more than enough, or at least, fingers crossed, it was last Sunday enough to get the win.
Yeah, and again, I mean, very similar starts from what we saw. And now, again, you see Derek Schaefer coming in. Again, the bullpen has not been tested too much this weekend outside of Koger on Friday. So you got a lot of different options to work with Really Bloomquist.
Back to center, Jackson a few steps over. First out of Derek Schaefer's day. That is in L8. The difference this time, I think, is he went 5. Five's a pretty good number to shoot for on Sundays, and if he's going to be your consistent Sunday starter, you'd like him to go 5. I think the goal every Sunday should be, all right, 4 if he's in trouble, 5 on a is the most likely outcome as the pitch lands in a strike here on Fender, and then 6 if he's really good. 4 to 6 innings, you're good.
Yeah,
bring in the bullpen.
And again, your next step, though, for Alba is keeping it a little more efficient, I would say. The big thing, right? 96 pitches across 5 innings, which is, again, what you probably expect from your Sunday guy, especially this early on in the season. But got down in the kind of lot those first 3 innings, which is kind of what aided that pitch count throughout the day.
Ball and a strike here on the 1-for-2 Fender, and the count now 1-2. So Alba's final line, he goes 5 innings, gives up 6 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts. Wow, looking at that, that's almost identical to the line last Sunday, minus the inning total. Again, a reasonable amount of hits, 2 earned runs. That ball chipped away. 6 Ks. He did throw 96 pitches, which, as you mentioned, you'd like to see, if he's going to throw 96, you'd like to see him get into his 6th inning, but the only real ugly number is 4 extra base hits. But not a bad day for Jaden Alba. And he did go 5, so he's in line for the win. That ball knocked out to right center and down for a base hit. The second of the day for Fender. And so now it becomes, what does your bullpen do? You got a great outing last night from Josh Butler, who came in and gave you the final 3, which was all you could ever hope for. I don't know that Schaefer's bringing you to the 9th, but if Schaefer could get you to the 7th or 8th, you're good with that.
Yeah, again, I think you're either hoping either 2 or you're hoping just 1-1-1-1 to end it off and allow everybody, keep everybody available for, again, you're not thinking too much right out in front of you, right? You want to win today, but it's got to be a little bit in the back of your mind of how you can put 2 games together on the road at UCLA in the midweeks.
1-0 here. Low 2-0. UCLA is a good midweek to start off with. They're a Power 4 program, but they're not one that's unbeatable, and especially your first 2 road games of the season. That's a nice midweek series, and I know that it means a lot to Willie Bloomquist outside of how good they are. Those are the teams that he grew up playing. Oh, look out! That went off the top of the netting there. But he's spoken about USC, who's going to come in for a midweek later, and UCLA, and I assume Stanford probably next year coming in. He wants to keep those quote-unquote Pac-12 legacy series going as a guy who, is a Pac-12 legacy guy himself, played here and grew up with the University of Washington. 2-2 here.
I mean, so many connections out on the West Coast, right? I mean, so much great baseball that dominated, right, in the 60s and 70s, and, was even still in the force in the 90s when he was out here between USC and this group right here. Now, you don't want to lose those connections and what it means to play West Coast baseball.
Matt Brandt at the plate, reaches, pokes it down the line. Long run for Kian Vu, and he's not going to get there. It goes foul.
And that's always interesting. And with so much conference realignment and so many universities going back and forth, and again, the tough stretches that's going to be for Stanford and UCLA in terms of, again, their travel every single year. And it's why Stanford's probably not going to be ever seeing themselves in an early season tournament, right? You're traveling so much already. It's why they had that 4-game stint against Cal State Fullerton to begin the year. You're going to try to stack your non-conference schedule with the best out here in the West Coast. That way you do not have to deal with the long travel that you're going to have to be really agonizing your way through in the sense of conference play in April and May.
Yeah, the midweeks are no joke here for the Devs, both thrown low for 3-2. The midweeks are no joke this year. And we actually heard a lot from Kian Vu at Media Day about how there's been an emphasis on making sure they don't take those games off. They focus and really make sure that they have no mistakes, because those are the games that can kind of pile up and get you if you lose come tournament time. If you're right on the bubble, 3-2 is low and away for ball 4 as Fender goes to second and Brandt works a walk. I mean, 2 years ago, you could argue that midweeks are what kept them out of the NCAA tournament. The bad loss to Arizona, there were a couple others. Last year, the midweeks were atrocious. There were some very bad midweek games here. Utah Valley, New Mexico. There were some bad midweeks, and it's good to see that there's been an emphasis on making sure that they don't let those games go away, especially with, you're going to have USC, Long Beach State, Grand Canyon twice, Purdue, good programs that are really going to test you in the midweeks.
Yeah, again, last year it was games you needed to win on the road, sometimes in those midweek series. New Mexico, that main case right here. Cal State Fullerton, the 2-game stretch out last season. That was the difference, right? Some of those bad losses in the midweeks were, again, what did not help out as much of your conference stretch, just push things even a tad bit lower. But again, it's all about the RPI. How do you find your way in college baseball to be one of those 64 teams at a regional? And
swing and a miss here for Martell Davis.
And it's tough this season too, right? Last year you had Texas A&M, TCU, A&M again, out there in the College Baseball Classic, and you see some of the top programs in the country. Again, you get those 3 losses. It's still not bad losses, but how do you stack yourself with some good wins and keep some confidence in your arms this early on in the year? That's why you have a series like this, right? Last year was tough. You're going up against 3 different top 5 teams, top 10 teams in the country, and you're blowing away your bullpen that had to have a quick turnaround for conference play against Oregon the next week. If you get them confidence early on in the year, there's not as many injuries, there's not as much fatigue, and you can see what they can really do in April and May.
1-1 here with 2 on. 1-2 now, 1 out. You also have the ability to challenge yourself more in the midweeks because you're challenged more on the weekends. Teams that are coming in here that you will go to in conference play, you're going to have plenty of opportunities to raise that RPI. TCU is your first weekend series of the year on the road. Fouled away. You'll get TCU, you'll get Oklahoma State. Kansas has been playing incredibly good baseball. You're going to see some very good teams in the conference that allow you to challenge yourself a little more in the midweeks. You don't have to say, all right, well, we're, counting on, we're going to go play Utah this weekend or something like that, and we have to make sure the midweek's a little bit lighter, fouled away. And say, well, we're going down to Fort Worth this weekend to play a top 10 TCU team. Why don't we get ourselves prepared for that by playing a midweek against USC or something like that?
Yeah, again, you still have top competition that you're going against. It's not anything to walk over. And again, I think that sometimes was a tough thing last year to where you go into those midweek games expecting you're going to win against Utah Valley. And then we saw it again on Friday, right? It's tough sometimes to stay locked in for all 9 innings of this. Got to get those wins.
Derek Schaefer's locked in. He strikes out his first batter of the game. Martell Davis has taken it on the chin there on the 9 spot. The shortstop now 0 for 3. And here's Will Edmondson, who's gotten on twice in 3 batters. So he's gotten pretty dangerous today. Got to be careful how you pitched him, especially with Fender and Brandt on the bases. Fender singled with 1 out. Brandt walked a batter later. But with 2 out here, Schaefer trying to get out of this thing. He sets high in his first inning of work, delivers a strike, it's 0-1. The amount of pitches here at 20, you're really going to have to make a decision if you want him available in the midweek. More than 20 here, and you're really starting to think, well, he's probably not going to be available till next Friday. So it's almost a decision here at the end of the inning, ball away 1-1. If you want to burn him today and say, all right, he'll come back next weekend, or say, we're going to pull him, keep him at 20, 30 pitches and use him either Tuesday or Wednesday out of the pen. He can also start if you wanted him to, but again, you were right about Leto, Carlone, probably the likely starters there. Fouled away for 1 and 2. Be a fun trip to UCLA. Almost didn't have a ballpark to play in this year.
That's kind of odd for both those programs to not be in their own ballpark possibly this year, with USC having to bounce around the Irvine area before.
1-2, foul down the line. Boy, that was close. Yeah, you almost had a series between ASU and UCLA in which neither was a member of the Pac-12, and they weren't playing at Jackie Robinson Ballpark, which, given the history of those two programs, usually the class of the Pac-12, and the history of that ballpark, would have been one of the strangest things you've seen in college baseball all year. But they will play at Jackie Robinson Tuesday and Wednesday, and then the Devils back home for Minnesota next weekend. Low and away 2-2. They're here the first 4 weekends of the season. And you can already see in a series like this how the home crowd can really help them and play in, especially the home ballpark as well. Just being here for 4 weekends allows you to start the season with a very strong record. 2-2 from Schaefer. Rolled off to short. Bobbled going to second, and he's out. Close play, but King gets it away to Walker. And a fielder's choice ends the inning. The Devils have a 5-2 lead. We go to the last of the 6th. This is Arizona State baseball here on ESPN+.
Sundays this season, we're going to be giving young fans a taste of the excitement of calling a baseball game. Today, while the Sun Devils are up to bat, we have Carter. Carter is a right fielder for his 12 UT. Carter, take it away.
Now batting, second baseman, number 7, Kyle Walker.
Kyle Walker leads off. We go bottom 5. Great to be with you on ESPN Plus for a Sunday afternoon with Jaden Taylor, Aiden Blanc. As you can kind of tell, this is very much the laid-back day, even though not necessarily for the players in the field, but for the fans. You know, you mosey on in, late in the day. Just enjoy some baseball. Good rip from Walker. It heads down to the bleachers in left. I suppose that is a pretty tough thing if you're a player, where the vibes on Sunday, especially from the crowd as this ball goes away 2-1, are usually more relaxed, just enjoying yourself. You probably just came from church or from whatever you're doing on a Sunday morning, whereas this is a 1-1 series and you need to win it.
Yeah, and you need to win it, especially for your hopes in this non-conference stretch.
To third. Good scoop up by Brandt and a 5-3 put out to set down Walker. That's the second time he's been set down in 3 at-bats. So here comes New Contradas, who had a very interesting start to this day. First pitch he sees, put out over the batter's eye in center. Second pitch he sees in the second inning, ground out to short, and then he strikes out in the fourth. He's at a very wacky slate of at-bats here, and he takes a strike to start his fourth at-bat of the game. Flown out towards center. He's been swinging early today. The aggressiveness has been good. He's made some contact, but he's retired with an F8 here in the sixth.
And again, just like Friday, right? You get going early, you have the offense, you have a lead. How do you continue to work good at-bats in the back half of the game? Well, as you mentioned, right, things lull, things slow down a little bit. You can kind of go through the motions a little bit within this offense. And that's why Willie Bloomquist is talking here to Kian Vu. Slow things down, right? Too quick of a start to the inning here for Rudder. Slow things down. Get him out of his rhythm a little bit. This is in no way a true conversation. This is just take time, take pitches,
mental games.
Switch things up.
You've also got another arm there in the bullpen. It's tall enough that it might be Carlone. You've got the binoculars. It is Carlone. I love that I knew that just based on his height. Cole's an intimidating factor. So just a chance to give Cole a little bit more time in case you go down quickly in this inning. There are 2 outs here. Give him a little more time to get warm if that's the plan. Schaefer faced 5 in the 6th. Ball 1-0. So again, like we said last inning, this is kind of decision-making time as to how long you want to go with him, if this is going to become a strong relief outing or if this is a one and done. This is way gone to left center field. Goodbye, Kian Vu. 6-2 on ASU's 3rd home run of the game. He snuck one out there last night. That one had a little more power to it, but another one that just clears the fence. And on 5 hits, the Devils have a 6-2 lead.
How about go the opposite way again for Kian Vu? All parts of the field. That's his strength, right? We saw it so much last season. He can put the ball wherever you need it. And again, right, a lull in the middle innings. How do you keep everything going and clicking, especially after a long top half of the frame? That's the spark you need to make sure that the rest of this offense is still locked into this game.
Brandon Compton here looking for a hit, but instead he takes a ball 1-0. He's walked 3 times in a row. 4-0 has got to be close to an ASU record, right? 2 balls, no strikes. It has to at least be close.
I think there's got to be a point where you start to have true frustration of just wanting to swing the bat.
Yep.
Right, for the amount of work that Brandon Compton put in this offseason and the last 2 years, not being able to swing the bat, yeah, you see it there. Just give me something.
I thought he was frustrated before he even took an at bat today. Just getting walked, 3 times this weekend, or 4 times, let alone 3 times in a row here, 3-1.
And it's a tough thing, right? Like, you're not going to get good pitches. You know, start off a lot of off speed. We've seen all 4 at bats today.
Here it is. 4 walks in 4 at bats for Brandon Compton. And I understand the philosophy behind it. You pitch to him, it's just going to go poorly. That's just how it's going to go. But the problem you've run into here is you put him on 4 times today. We'll see what happens here, but the first 3 times you put him on, twice he came around to score. So it's not like you're putting him on and going through the rest of the lineup easily. You're still having problems with Tobias and Cromwick. It's just not... I understand not wanting to pitch to him, but walking him is not doing you much good.
Yeah, again, you got so many potent pieces in the middle of this order. And again, it's why I think if you're Compton, you got to deal with it a little bit, right? You can't force the issue too much to try to swing out of your shoes on a pitch that's not yours. I think that's probably something different that you see from him last year. He's probably not as comfortable with, right? He's probably trying to find anything that's in the strike zone to swing at.
He's running on a 1-1. The throw down, not in time. He says, all right, if you're going to put me on, I'm going to run the bases. I'm going to do something on this Sunday other than sit there and be walked.
It's the first time they haven't thrown over, right? Yeah. 2 separate wild throws to get him around. And again, that's the aggressiveness, right? That is the all-around ability that you see in Brandon Compton. That, again, isn't just showing that he can be a big basher, the main guy in the middle of your order. He can truly be an all-around hitter for, again, the next level.
Reigning Big 12 Player of the Week. Could he repeat just for walking 8 times? It's pretty valuable to the team this weekend. He scored a lot. This ball ripped to center, back to Naka, but he's going to keep it in the ballpark. And the inning comes to an end as Toby tries to power one out but can't quite get it. So, 1 run on the inning. It's Kian Fu who gets a homer. It comes on 1 hit, no errors, and a runner left on base. 7th inning, we're headed to the back 3rd, and ASU starting to pull away at 6-2. This is Sun Devil Baseball on ESPN+.
Baseball will face off against Minnesota on Friday and Saturday. And women's basketball will take on that team from down south on March 1st. Sun Devil Athletics onward to victory. For the Sun Devils, now pitching number 14, Carlone. Leading off with Oral Roberts, center fielder.
Top of the 7th, and a 6-2 lead for Arizona State on this Sunday afternoon with Jaden Taylor. Aiden Blanc, great to be with you. We're having some fun, and so is Cole Carlone. He gets in for the first time this weekend and delivers a strike to Makani Tanaka. Good day for him, a walk and a single. Came around to score in the 3rd and grounded out in the 4th. The 0-1 sails off the glove of Cromwick. Ball in his strike. Carlone's hit mid-90s too, 95. I didn't get enough of what Schaefer was doing velocity-wise, but you get some hard throwers for a Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, you got a lot of options, right? I mean, we talked about it already. The depth for Willie Bloomquist, he's discussed, and even the hitters have discussed, is the best in this coaching staff's era under Bloomquist, and it's why they've been able to go to so many guys, comfortable with so many guys this early in the season. We've seen 17 different options as Tanaka hit there, and 17 different options across the first 4 ball games to open up the year. You get a sweep and a 4-0 start, and you still have some guys you haven't seen. Alec Ballardis is a guy we haven't seen this weekend that I think could be a really good back-end bullpen guy, could be a setup guy later on in this year. And it's why you like these, again, not dominant college baseball, regional style of openings that a lot of teams do to begin their season, right? Because you be more comfortable. You can throw guys that you haven't seen before and see what roles they can be put into. That's your first 3 weekends.
He has options. It's really forced him to become a manager in the true sense of the word. 0-2. Late nights, I'm sure, at the Bloomquist house trying to figure out how he's going to break down the weekend. And it's not just the pitching staff. We said he's started a whole slew of combinations in the infield. This one gets by Walker. It's a base hit. 2 aboard to start the 7th in Carlone's first inning of work. That's just going to become lethal, you hope, when you get to tournament time. Especially, in the Big 12 tournament, everybody you face, you're facing at least for a 4th time, potentially a 5th or a 6th. To be able to throw someone in there that they haven't seen before, that is almost unheard of. When you played a team 3-4 times, oh, look out, Carlone slipped there. But to be playing a team for the 4th or 5th time and have an infielder that they've never seen before, that's almost unheard of at this level.
Yeah, I mean, so many different options. And again, it's what brings teams to regionals, it's what brings teams to Omaha is, and the guys that you don't know, right? You've seen from LSU the last couple of seasons, guys that have been closing it down are, freshman pitchers you saw maybe 2 times throughout the regular season that come up in big spots and, get you wins to, find your way not only to win in Omaha, but just get out there in the first place. And the depth of guys, that are just a part of this staff, that are part of this roster is why the SEC is so dominant, because you have so many top bats that find their way into that conference and get your way all the way to the end of this season and the heights of this game.
2 strikes here on Carlone with 2 aboard. And he gets the K. That's a big bounce back for Cole Carlone, and Yates is now 0 for 4. He gives up the hit by pitch and then the single to start the 7th, but you're never going to keep Cole Carlone down for very long. A candidate to start on this day still is, but a weapon so far out of the bullpen, which is how he's been used so far.
I think the big thing,
away 1-0.
And I think the big thing here, though, is that he was a very potential option on this Sunday start. But when talking with Willie Bloomquist, he felt, okay, whatever the better role for me, right? Whatever is the better role that helps this team win, whatever I can do to get wins on the board, that's all he cares about, right? You see sometimes guys, they want to be that weekend starter, they want to be a projectable guy at the next level of, whatever their personal goals are in this game. I think that's the difference in this team this year. It's not a group that wants to be a certain role and has to be in that spot to be successful. They're a lot more flexible than in years past.
1-0 to 1-1. Now the 1-1 goes to 1-2. Good block there. Oral Roberts has been so up and down in this lineup. There's only 2 players that have hits in every game this weekend. It's Tanaka and Shark. Shark's at the plate right now. That streak is on the line for him. He's 0 for 3 so far with a couple of strikeouts. 2 aboard, and the 1-2, and he's down with a 3rd strikeout. Carlone's starting to hit a groove, and Shark has hit a bit of a slump here at the end of this weekend.
Yeah, tough one. Again, 3 strikeouts near Golden Sombrero Lodge, but again, for Carlone, though, really good curveball. The off speeds look really, really good here, especially with a righty. It comes out of the hand right, looking like it's in another batter's box, and then just drops over the heart of the plate.
Still 2 aboard and 2 out. High and in. Ball and no strikes. Oral Roberts only hitting .118 with runners in scoring position in this game. Now it's 2-0. 2 for 17 with runners in scoring position, 4 for 19 with runners on, and 1 for 7 with 2 outs. And that is basically the opposite of what the Devils have done this weekend, though they are 1 for 7 today. That is foul down the left field line. that's combined with the fact that you have 4 extra base hits. You've left a runner on in all but 1 inning here. It is not like you've been without chances, but you haven't come through. And again, Carlone able to get him out on the fielder's choice as the 7th comes to an end without a run on 1 hit. And the Eagles go down scoreless again. 3 straight goose eggs from the Sun Devil bullpen. We're starting to see a trend with Willie Bloomquist and his late game arms. Stretch time in Tempe. 6-2 Devils here on ESPN+. Off to the bullpen goes Oral Roberts, and they've got Connor Floyd in for the bottom of the 7th. Devs in front 6-2, though I would go as far as to say the offense has been better than 6 runs. Just haven't quite had it. A strike here called on Josiah Cromwick to start the 7th inning for ASU. Cromwick 0 for 2, and then got on with an error. The 0-1, lifted in the air to left field. This has got a chance. It's got more than a chance. It's over the fence. 4 home runs for the current Sun Devil leader, Josiah Cromwick, and he leaves Muni to extend this lead now up to 5 runs at 7-2.
Over the heart of, again, just left, just hanging right there for Cromwick. Really good ability to get the hands through a little bit lower part of the zone. But man, Cromwick, what a start. You're talking about how are you going to replace Ryan Campos after what a stretch of 3 seasons it was. Bring back the grad student that was underneath him, kind of as a protege a little bit. And Cromwick, what a big hit.
First of the day, sends up Isaiah Jackson. And I'll tell you in a minute what's impressed me most about Josiah Cromwick. Jackson, the lefty here, takes out. Ball in his strike. What's impressed me most about Cromwick is he's been able to, he was really good at Oregon. People forget about that. It was one of the best catchers when he played in the Cape League. He was really good for a bunch of years. A strike there for 1 and 2. And then he comes here and basically sits out a year. He didn't play. Ryan Campos was 95% of the games last year. And yet he's come here and picked up right where he left off. He didn't play summer ball this year. That is low for 2 and 2. All he really had was fall ball, and yet he's come back looking almost better than he did when he left Oregon. It's not always the easiest thing to do, to go that long without regular starts. That is strike 3 called on Jackson, who is frustrated to say the least, heading back to the dugout. And Connor Floyd gets a K on the second batter he faces.
Yeah, go back to Cromwell, though. Again, it's tough when you have Ryan Campos, right? It's very atypical for a catcher to be behind the dish that much. And again, the leader and the captain of the team last season was taking over that spot. And again, now it's a little more back and forth between him, Briggs, and Garza a little bit. But again, Cromwell outright won the job, right, over the fall, just between his pure ability. Him and New Contreras were the best bats of, again, a slower hitting core in the fall comparatively to this pitching staff. Again, the work that he has put in and waiting his time to take over as the main man behind the dish. And when he's had his chances, he's come up.
0-2 the count here on Hernandez. No, it's Landon Harrison who comes in. This is the second time this weekend they've taken Hernandez out for Landon Harrison. This is now 1-2, though. This is a little bit different. He was 0 for 2 on Friday. It could have been a performance thing. Today it most definitely wasn't, because Hernandez exits this game with a single, a walk, and a fielder's choice. So he got on all 3 times. Harrison goes down looking. Harrison was in the starting lineup yesterday, struggled a bit, and has almost picked that up here today. Back-to-back looking strikeouts here in the 7th inning, and now it's Matt King.
And it's a really good job by Floyd to bounce back, especially after giving up the long ball on a hanging curveball nonetheless, right? You have back-to-back strikeouts on a looking curveball in the outer third. It's tough, especially this part in the season. How do you trust your stuff? How do you, know that you have the work and the pieces to go after, especially with Floyd giving up a run last weekend as well on a couple of big hits. And they're still testing guys. And down 5, it's tough to really try to bring your best stuff, but he's done the job thus far.
0-2 with 2 gone. King on the ground to the right side. On the run, Shark throws him out, and it's 3 straight set down to end the 7th. But welcome to the ball game, Josiah Cromwell. Big fly number 4 on the day for the Devils. Run on a hit, no errors, and nobody left. Last 2 on the way for Muni. A 7-2 lead for ASU, trying to close out the series with a win. Back in a moment. This is Sun Devil Baseball on ESPN+. Eighth inning action here from Phoenix Municipal Stadium. 7-2 ball game. Arizona State leads it. And Oral Roberts only 6 outs to try and get these 5 runs. Ball fouled back. Cole Carlone is here for his 2nd inning of work, JT. So you had mentioned he's a candidate to start in the midweeks. 2 innings is, maybe if you get him on Wednesday, he pumps in a strike there. It's going to be a lot to ask having him come in this many pitches and throw a midweek. That's strike 3. It's a drop third strike, and they get him over at first.
And I think this is what you're asking. I think this is what you're asking for here, right? If you can get a quick inning out of him, maybe you're trusting him again on Wednesday. Or if you can get the job done, again, 5-run cushion, you have other options. in this bullpen right now. Again, eat up 2 innings, keep it under 25, 30 pitches, and I think you're easily good with him going out there again on Wednesday, at least maybe for 2-3 innings of work.
First pitch to Matt Brandt, in for a strike. It's 0-1. This game is not done by a long stretch. Given how many runners Oral Roberts has had, if they start hitting with runners on base, they could get 5 back, but it's a tall task here as the count goes 0-2 against one of the Devils' best relievers, and that might be the feeling having him go long if you're Willie Bloomquist right now, is that this guy is one of your best relievers right now in a game that's not decided quite yet. If you can keep him in, it probably will be decided. He rings up a batter for a second strikeout here in the 8th.
Yeah, I mean, he's trying to decide himself right now if you're Cole Carlone. Again, really good looks. That curveball is just so good. I mean, again, it doesn't pop. It doesn't, again, tip itself a little bit right. It is just straight fluid out of the left hand.
4 punchies in 5 batters.
And you hear all the time, right, in baseball, tunneling, right? How can you make a fastball or, make a fastball look like an off-speed, make your off-speed look like it's coming out of the same spot in the hand? That's the big thing for Carlone, right? The hand doesn't speed up, right, on the heater, right? It's the same fluid motion. It's coming out of the same slot. Everything is quick and simple to the plate for Carlone, to where it's really hard to pick up when you're throwing 95, middle 90s with a heater, and then trying to adjust with that curveball. That's some really, really tough late break to it.
Ball and a strike here from Carlone. This one stays fair. Look at the stab from Contreras. Pretty finish over at third base. ASU 80-3 when they lead after 8 innings in the Willie Bloomquist era, and they most certainly will take a lead out of the 8th inning in this Sunday ball game. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Last chance for the Devs to try and hit. 7-2, they lead it. We're through 7.5 on a Sunday here at Phoenix Media. This is Sun Devil Baseball on ESPN+.
Second baseman, Kyle Walker.
Hudson Hartman in for the Eagles. They're hoping he's the last pitcher that they use on this Sunday. Up against Kyle Walker, 9-1-2. Dangerous part of this order. Walker and then the top third. First pitch to Walker in for, oh no, just low, ball one. Aiden Blanc, Jaden Taylor. Kobe Bronstein, our statistician. Henry Dominy, producer, director on this Sunday afternoon. Thanks for being with us. Ball low for 2-0. Making things look pretty all weekend. We'll be back next weekend for ASU in Minnesota after that 2-game stretch against UCLA in the midweek. Called strike there and the borderline pitch. It's 2-2. 2-1 rather. One of those where you could use the ABS being used across the street. 3-1. Spring training in the Valley. And those major league teams starting to use it. You have to imagine as soon as they start to use it, it's coming to the college game. 3-1, ball four. Walker draws his second walk of the weekend, or second walk of the game, in 4 at-bats. And here's Contrades.
I'm definitely intrigued of how the ABS system will grow. I think it's very tough to have it at the college level just because of the wide range of athletic programs and the budgets that you have. And maybe in regional play or in the College World Series, maybe something that you can add there.
Runner takes off and another stolen base.
This is the aggression that I just absolutely love from this Sun Devil team right now. It's just so different from the last 2 years, right? Sometimes, okay, a little aggressive and maybe too much. They get themselves, out in front. But, again, you add in Walker, you have New, you have Keen Vu. I mean, even Brandon Compton today has forced a couple of wild throws and had a stolen base himself. It's, again, just such a more well-rounded start to these first 2 weekends for this group, right? Again, last year was, okay, the hitting's either there or the pitching's either there. It's tough to have both. I think this weekend has shown, even with the loss on Friday, that you can really have good pieces at every single point of your ball club. And that's just a lot of confidence that you can build for this day.
That ball smoked to left field. It's got the distance. It is way gone. 2 for New. And now 3 on the weekend. 9-2 Arizona State. It gets blown open in the late innings at Muni.
Doing it all, right? Contrada's great at third. A couple of great stabs at the hot corner today. How about a couple of bombs, too? Again, struggling, right, in the first opening weekend. How to get things going. That's the New that we saw in the fall. Just an immense addition to this lineup this year.
2 hits on the day. They're both home run, and not even home runs.
No, Jimmy Jacks.
No doubt home runs. Think back. I'm old enough, the pitch outside on Vu. I'm old enough to remember when he started hitting those and had that breakout weekend his freshman year against Arizona at home. He's going to have one of those later this season when the Cats come in.
It was only 2 years ago, Aiden.
I'm old enough to remember it.
I would hope many are. I would hope many are, Aiden.
1 ball and 1 strike, but the progress that he has shown since then, 2 balls and strike, and you start to think, what could have been if he hadn't gone down last year? If he was playing last year, it's a very different ASU lineup. He's had another bat in there, but he's back here. 2-1 in for a strike, 2-2, and he's going to get. You assume he's going to the big leagues after this. One last chance here to prove himself at ASU before having what should be a pretty special summer. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Keen Vu slaps it away.
And again, it's the depth, right? You lose New, that forces Kevin Karstead to play at third and second, going back and forth. You lost Jax Ryan, too, last season to a shoulder injury. Again, the lack of depth, again, just forced guys to play so much more, and the wear and tear is tough.
Vu down on strikes, swinging. First out of the 8th. Do you know the actual name of the home run song they play?
Could not tell you.
I don't know the name of it, but it'll be haunting the minds of these Golden Eagles for a little bit. They've heard it how many times this weekend and watched how many balls go up onto the facade there in left field. Inside, and nearly hit Compton. I think he may have gotten hit and just wants to keep going. It was close. I think he wants to just stay in the batter's box in case they throw him a pitch, on the off chance they throw something over. He's walked 4 times today, and he's well on his way to a 5th.
Yeah, first time in 3 years.
2-0, halfway there.
First time in 3 years the guy's walked 4 times in a game. With Connor Davis against BYU in a loss on the second weekend of the year back in 2022. I mean, it's just a long stretch.
Oh, he found one, and he lasers it into left center field. They threw him a strike, and Brendan Compton makes him pay. 4 walks and a double on the day for the reigning Big 12 Player of the Week.
And pretty much it's the same case what he's had last 3 plate appearances. Again, walk, E1, he gets on to third couple of times, walk in a stolen base. No matter what you do, you're going to find his way on. I mean, it's tough to have anything go against Brandon Compton.
That's got to feel pretty good. Only his 2nd hit of the weekend, and yet he's been on base more than any other Sun Devil here.
I think the big thing that shows is, again, the game is slowing down for Brandon Compton, right? You see a lot of guys at this stage, is the game speed up for him, right? Whether out in the outfield and left or at the plates. When the things and the pieces and the pitches slow down, you see a beach ball out there, everything seems so much more simple. That's those guys that you're going to see in AA, AAA next year when, you know, they're making it a little bit easier at the minor league level.
10 walks on the day for ASU. 20 walks issued in this series. So half the walks in this series have come in the last 8 innings.
And it's Sunday baseball. It's pretty much
yeah.
no other way to explain it.
The 2-0 to Toby. Popped up left side. This could be trouble. Broderick doesn't see it. He still doesn't see it and finally gets a glove in there. Man. That was another one. Left field is taking it on the chin, but it's just so fascinating. It's not happened to ASU once this series. It has exclusively been Broderick and yesterday Combs, the 2 outfielders for Oral Roberts.
And we even saw it last weekend with Ohio State, too. Again, you talk about, especially in the East Valley, high skies, right? We saw it in spring training the last couple of days out in Seattle, and same case for Hohokam Stadium, a little bit further away from here at Mesa. It's not easy to see the ball. It kind of disappears with a bright blue open sky and the sun blaring down on you. Makes it really hard. But again, for ASU, right, you've been here, you know, for 3 years, some of these guys, you're seeing it all across the fall. It's nothing new.
Wild pitch, Compton to third. He'd be the 10th run of this game for ASU, which, I mean, it was 7-2. Was a 5-run game entering last. It was very, you know, not close, but for a Sunday ball game, good chance for Oral Roberts to come back. Couple of swings of the bat in this inning, and starts to feel out of reach for the Eagles. Pitch a high strike. 2-2 to Cromwick, who is himself coming off a home run in the 7th inning. Devils looking for the opening 2 series of the year. The 2-1 cut and miss. Now it's 2-2. That's something they didn't do last year. They won that first series with Santa Clara, but did not take the 4-gamer with Ohio State. Tied it 2-2, so this would be a much better start than they had last season. This ball fended away. We'll do it again. Ten walks in the day for ASU. Left 7 out there, 4 stolen bases. It was a good day The Devils, now they just need those final 3 outs. Here's the 2-2 with 2 gone in the inning. Do it again. There doesn't appear to be any action in the ASU bullpen, so as of now, Carlone's getting a third. Ball low and out in this never-ending at-bat for Cromwick. Goes to a full count. I would say 3 innings, you're pretty close to burning him for what you definitely burned him for Tuesday. You're pretty close to just saying he's done for the week. He'll go next weekend, which is a choice. You can make that. You're deep enough, but any chance he had at starting a midweek is getting close to done. But you never know. Willie Bloomquist is an interesting guy like that.
And you got other options. I mean, we talked about Rowan Leto, who we saw on Monday.
He started a midweek already. Really
Butler,
good start.
Butler put together 4 innings last night. Maybe see him on Wednesday. Braden Barnes has been a starting option too. Wyatt Halverson as well.
Down goes Cromwick, and the inning comes to an end. But another big fly from Contreras, and the Devils have 2 more runs on 2 hits, no errors, 1 left. To the 9th we go. Looks like Cole Carlone's on for the final 3, and we'll see if he is as we move along to the top of the 9th. Sun Devil Baseball on ESPN Plus, back after this.
For the Sun Devils, now pitching number 50, Eli Buxton.
To the 9th we go, and thanks to New Contreras and his 2nd home run of the game, first home run game as a Sun Devil. This game is starting to get out of reach, 9-2. Devils 3 outs away with a 7-run lead here. After a heartbreaker on Friday night, they have played as well as you possibly could ask them to the next 2 days. I thought yesterday was the most complete game they played this season. You make an argument today is that most complete game.
Yeah, it's kind of a wake up a little bit after Friday, right? The bullpen, again, we had issues in the last couple of seasons. It gets away in that 9th inning. But honestly, Bloomquist is seemingly more upset with the offense and how much they lulled in the back half of that game. Not been the case Saturday and Sunday, especially on a Sunday afternoon. Easy to slow things down, but a run in all but the 4th frame. You're putting something together every single inning. Cannot complain about the way that ASU has bounced back from the Friday night loss.
So for the final 3, it's not Carlone as we originally thought. It's going to be Eli Buxton going in for his first appearance as a Sun Devil. And he whips one in at 91. The first thing you'll notice about Eli Buxton is that launch angle almost dead on. And he's tall too. It's a very high angle. Oh my goodness, look at that pitch. 87. 0-2. That looked just off of his arm like a fastball.
Yeah, it's just straight over
Whoa.
the top. His back is nearly falling towards first base with that throw, and against where he kind of gets a lot of his power coming down the mound.
Doing pretty well. 3-pitch strikeout. And the first batter he faces is a collegiate arm.
And again, this allows, right, Cole Carlone to be an option Tuesday, Wednesday, even maybe again this next weekend. Just 28 pitches, 21 of those strikes for Cole Carlone. And again, at times the question mark, can the bullpen deliver? Can the offense be there all 9 innings? We've seen it each of the last 2 nights.
4 Ks over 2 innings of work for Carlone out of the bullpen. We might see him Wednesday. We might wait till next week to see him. Ball inside, the first misfire of this day for Buxton, who is listed as 6'6". He looks even taller than that. He's big. 1-0. 1-1. Right-handed pitcher out of Sand Springs, Oklahoma. The scouting report, long, slender frame, room and ability to create extension through that length, and that's exactly what we've seen through his first bunch of pitches here as the count goes to 2-1. He had a perfect game a couple years ago, Sand Springs High School. 2022, he would have been, what, a sophomore? Wow, that's pretty impressive. Obviously knows a lot about Oral Roberts, Oklahoma guy. Top 75 prospect in the state of Texas. So he did go to high school in the state of Texas, even though he's from Oklahoma. Popped up center field. Jackson was in, now he's back. That's an F8 for 2 down. And Eli Buxton showcasing his abilities very early here. You hold him to 1 inning. He's available in a couple of games in the future. This is another one of those guys that, you know, if you don't use him much during the season, you pull that guy out in a regional when you need a couple outs and nobody knows anything about him, and suddenly you're moving on.
Yeah, low pressure, especially after last time, giving up a couple of walks, struggled to find the zone in his, first outing last weekend against Ohio State, but you come back out here, you settle things in. Again, another option for Willie Bloomquist to see what he can do with them. And low pressure spot, find your way through the 9th, and you got a second series win of the year.
Yeah, this is his second outing of the season. Came out last weekend, but you're right, low pressure. And still, you don't know much about him. The scouting report is not going to tell you a lot. And now he's a strike away from closing this thing out. Didn't even need to use Will Koger. The closer was available, but you really didn't want to use him after the 30-pitch performance there on Friday. The 1-2 from Buxton. Cooper Combs taps it back to the mound. Eli's got it, fires to first. And the Devils come back and win 2 straight to close out the weekend and take their second series of this young 2025 season. 9-2 the final, and a nice happy day for Willie Bloomquist and co. as they snatch up this series after it started about as poorly as you could have wanted in such heartbreaking fashion. They dominate yesterday with 12 runs, come back today, win by 7. All-around performances to close it out on Saturday and Sunday, and you head into your first road games of the season with a lot of positive momentum.
Yeah, you're really happy, right? Again, sometimes things lapse like it did on Friday, but how do you respond after an opening night loss? You get this series win, you see what this offense can do. Again, doing it all, right? Some big hits, some big moments, a couple of long balls to add on to it, and aggressiveness on the base paths. It's truly an all-encompassing win. Good start from Alba. A couple of really good relief appearances from Schaefer, Carlone, and Buxton. It's everything you need out of a second weekend series.
So that'll wrap up our coverage. Again, ASU off to the midweek. They'll play Tuesday, Wednesday at UCLA, then back here for Minnesota coming up next weekend. Your final totals on the day: ASU 9 runs, 8 hits, no errors. They left 8. Oral Roberts 2 runs, 8 hits, 5 errors. That was a biggie for them, and they left 10. Our next baseball stream, Friday night, Arizona State and Minnesota, right here on ESPN+. For our entire stream team production crew and Jaden Taylor, Henry Dominy producing, directing, Colby Bronstein manning the stats, I'm Aiden Blanc saying so long from Phoenix Muni. 9-2 ASU wins it. Thanks for watching Sun Devil Baseball all weekend long here on ESPN+.